receive 50% off a 3-month membership, joining fees included. That's 50% off a 3-month membership at the Sumter YMCA, on sale this Friday.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff.
12 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow, or even free signage for your lot. Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
All right, one last look at your traffic and weather for your ride in on this Monday morning. A couple accidents to report, one at Shady Grove and Broad River Road, one at Polo and Alpine Road, and one more at I-20 eastbound at Monticello Road. So be careful as you're going through those areas. Today, going to be sunny and hot, high of 89. Similar forecast tomorrow with a high of 90. And then some storms move in late on Wednesday afternoon with a high of 90 as well. Currently 75 here in downtown Columbia on the game.
Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central. Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network and on 107.5, the Game app.
Oh, 9 o'clock on your Monday morning. Welcome in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler Head and Jack Veltri along with you here. Jack, a lot of things to get into over the course of this show. We've got a scrimmage to recap. We've got a new addition to the Gamecock football team from over the weekend. But there are certain moments in the offseason that are benchmarks, that are steps along the way to getting back to the thing that we love so much, that being the college football season. And when I saw your email this morning at 8:44 for Week 0 staff picks, I said, we're back, baby. There's college football this week.
Heck yeah, man. We're getting close. I decided to put a few FCS games in there because FCS gets going this week too. So yep. I did not want to put Southern Cal walloping. I think they're like a 38.5 point favorite. Florida State's like a 31.5 point favorite. I did not put those games, and I'm not giving any freebies out for Week 0. So we're picking some closer games in the FCS slate to kind of balance it all out. But yeah, man, I just sent that out this morning, and Week 0, it's here this week. It's game week, and I'm very excited.
It's finally arrived. We'll break those matchups down a little bit more as the week goes along. Again, not all of them are going to be games that you're probably looking at as instant classics by any means. The Southern Cal game, being one of those. Again, we get North Carolina and TCU, which should be pretty interesting. Hawaii Stanford was entertaining last year. The UNLV-Memphis game late on Saturday should be pretty interesting. So we got some things we can sink our teeth into and break down a little bit more as the week goes along. But it's refreshing to know, like, wow, every weekend for the rest of the year and creeping into January as well is going to feature some form of college football action. And look, we love all sports around here, right? We cover sports year round, talk about baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever. But football is what we live for. Football is our bread and butter. Football is where, quite frankly, we make most of our money, right? And doing the jobs that we do. So this is what we wait for. And man, it's finally here. Only 12 days until we see Carolina in action as well.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. I've already started thinking about my plans for Saturday. Like, Caroline's going to be out of the house doing, she's at some bridal shower or whatever on Saturday. So I'm going to be on the couch pretty much all day, TV on, figure out what food I want to make. It's going to be – this is probably one of the only weeks, too, of the season where I can actually on a Saturday watch a college football slate without really being interrupted. Because once week 1 starts, man, you know this. It goes like this for all of us. Like, well, we have to cover these other games, this South Carolina team. So week 0, no Carolina on. It'll be nice to just unpack a full slate of college football. With I would say it's a pretty good week 0 slate, all things considered.
Yeah, and look, there can be some games that jump up and surprise you that are more competitive than you thought they were going to be. I'm personally interested in North Dakota State and Jacksonville State. I think that's an interesting matchup. And that could be fun. You mentioned some of the FCS games that are going to be on our week 0 staff picks as well that you can also get into this weekend that maybe don't have the same glamour as some of these other games. But regardless, football is football. Excited to watch it. And, like you said, once we get in the actual grind of the season, now, again, we're blessed and fortunate to do the jobs that we do and get to be in the stadium to cover these games. But it does make watching the full slate of college football Saturdays a little more tricky, at least for, like, next week against Kent State. It's 12:45 game. Game should be over sometime around 4-ish probably. And, you guys obviously got to go to the press conference and all that, but we should all be back home by the time LSU and Clemson kick off that night. So you'll be able to catch a little bit of the nightcap of everything. And then you got Sunday games, Monday games, and all that as well. But, once we kind of get into the season, especially for home games, because we're at the stadium, we don't get to see quite as much as a lot of people that, just do get to park it on the couch each and every Saturday.
The goal is to be back on the couch by end of first quarter for that Clemson LSU game. Like that is the goal, because you're right. The game ends around 4. The fans will get to go home and watch these games, no problem. Us, we're there listening to the press conferences and whatnot. Like, it's usually about 2 hours after the game ends. At most, you're on your way back after that, and hopefully there's not a lot of traffic at that point. But yeah, man, I'm glad this is an early game. I'm not too thrilled about a 7 p.m. game against Towson the next week, but that's a later problem down the road. But yeah, man, we're 12 days away, and it is really around the corner at this point.
We'll get into the 12 days till kickoff in just a second. But how was the weekend? Anything going on?
Yeah, this weekend was pretty good. Just a nice weekend to relax. I covered high school football on Friday. Fort Mill beat Clover. Yeah, it was a good game, man. The weather was really crummy during the day, dude. Like, it was like a monsoon pouring on the way back driving, and then it turned out to be really nice out, like mid 70s, pretty sunny out when the game got going. And yeah, Fort Mill won 28-7 over Clover, so that was good. And then Saturday just relaxed, and then Sunday, let's see. Yesterday, I had my fantasy football draft for one of my leagues with some of my college buddies, so that was fun. I had the first pick, so it was nice because I was able to get Jahmyr Gibbs.
Nice,
but it was also annoying because it's like the way it works is we have 10 teams, you go all the way to pick 10, and then pick 10 is the first pick of the second round.
Yep.
So it's like snake draft. It's like the snake draft. Yeah. So it's a little annoying from that standpoint, because by that point, like, I really wasn't able to draft a great receiver. Like, my number 1 receiver is Zay Flowers. It's not ideal. He's fine.
That's solid.
He's fine. He's fine. He'll be a nice option. But yeah, had a fantasy football draft, and I was in the middle of, because we went to the Fireflies game yesterday.
Okay.
We had some friends come up from Charlotte, so some of our friends, Caroline and I. So yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun yesterday. A nice way to unpack the weekend.
Very cool. And again, kind of last couple weekends before we get into college football in full swing coming up here in a couple weeks. So take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah, what about you?
I had a buddy come up. My best friend came up from Georgia for the weekend. Wife's out of town doing some work stuff. So we hung out, went to Anderson Speedway on Saturday night for the Cars Tour event. That was a lot of fun. Saw a fight in the pits, nearly saw a 3-wide finish. So lived up to the billing, and $33 well spent on tickets.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's awesome.
So, yeah, good to see him. We hadn't hung out in a couple years, so good to see him and just hang out and relax for the weekend and, get ready to lock in with everything coming up here in 12 days.
Yeah. All right, man. 12 days. What we got? What's the number?
12 days until kickoff, and 12 is an interesting number because it is the difference in rushing touchdowns for South Carolina from 2024 to 2025. In 2024, 26 total rushing touchdowns. In 2025, only 14. Now, again, there's a lot of reasons for that. Again, the offense didn't move the ball up and down the field very well. Didn't score a lot of touchdowns in general, so very few of them came via rushing the football. But as we talk about with everything with this offense, our assumption is Kendall Brown's going to be able to fix this. And when you look at his numbers from TCU and Arkansas over the past handful of years, they're typically a 20-plus rushing touchdown type of team when Kendall Browse is calling the offense. I believe they dipped to 19, TCU did a couple years ago. But for the most part, this is a team that he is an offensive coordinator routinely getting 20-plus rushing touchdowns on the year. So we assume that's going to be corrected this year.
Yeah, and we'll talk. Well, this will be a little bit more in line with what we heard out of the scrimmage coming up shortly in the next segment. But it seems like the running back room is going to be a bit better this year. And honestly, not even a bit. It seems like they're going to be a good bit better this season with Matthew Fuller returning, Jawarn Howell, Christian Clark coming in. I mean, they Isaiah Gustave coming back. Like, those guys have all had good preseasons from everything that's been, written out there and, reported on. So that's a good sign, man. And yeah, when you have Lenore Sellers running the football as well, that's an added bonus. And I think we expect him to be able to run the football a lot more like he did in 2024. So yeah, they should have a much more balanced offense this year. And as a result of that, they should be able to score some more rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, the interesting thing, we've, again, talked about this ad nauseum this offseason. I know it was from one of our other countdowns the other day of how many passing touchdowns the Sellers are going to have compared to rushing touchdowns. That balance is going to be interesting because he has a really good ability to do both, obviously, but it's the running ability that didn't get utilized nearly as much last year or not as effective as we wanted it to. So I expect to see that be a pretty significant uptick. And when we kind of look at that sliding scale from 26 to 14, which again was the difference between rushing touchdowns in 24 and 25, I lean a whole lot closer to that 26. Maybe you can go over that. I don't know, compared to the 14, obviously. And heck, Sellers himself, would you be shocked if he was in the double digits for rushing touchdowns this year?
I would say I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be a little bit surprised. I think in the double digits. I had somebody ask me the other day, like, do I think Sellers gets 1,000 rushing yards? That's really tough to do. I think a lot of things would have to go right for that to happen. But I also think the same could be said for if he's going to be leading the way with double-digit rushing touchdowns. I don't think it's impossible. It's way more likely than 1,000 yards, I would say. But yeah, I think he could get close. I don't know if he'll get it, but I think he will definitely get close.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about 1,000 yards necessarily because I do think there's going to be a lot of running the football from the running backs as well. Now, again, how that splits, we don't know exactly. I think a lot of times when you look at quarterbacks that run for 1,000 yards, a lot of times they're the primary unit of running the football. I just don't think that's going to be the case in this offense. I think Sellers is going to put up a lot of yards, and I think, in short yardage and stuff like that, when they're down by the goal line, you're going to want to put the ball in 16's hands, so I think that's going to get him a lot of touchdowns, but I just think the carries across this season are going to be split up a lot to where I don't know if anybody, quite frankly, gets to 1,000 yards. It'd be great if somebody did. Hey, if Matt Fuller wants to run for 1,000 yards, or Christian Clark, or Lenore Sellers, we're not going to complain about that. I don't know if that's going to happen necessarily.
I don't see it. Sellers' career high in rushing yards, I believe, is 674 from 2 years ago. And then Fuller, Clark, Howell, Auguste. Like, I think the most any of those guys have rushed for in a season is like 300 yards. So, yeah, it's one of those cases where I need to see it to believe it. Like, I think the running back room will. The run game will be a lot more efficient this year, to where it's not an obvious weakness. Now, a lot of it, like everything, dude, everything comes down to whether or not you're getting good blocking up front. So if holes are not created, well, it's going to be tough for anyone to run the football consistently, at least. But if you're able to get the good blocking up front, yeah, I think this run game can go out here and do some good things like we saw 2 years ago when there was more balance in this offense. So, yeah. You got to be able to run the football to win games this season.
And the one thing also working against Lenore Sellers is that sack yardage does count against total rushing stats in college, unlike the NFL. And look, we're hoping that the sacks will be cleaned up, and we hope we're not getting sacked 40 times again this year. But forever how many sacks there are, that is going to count against his rushing totals, which are going to ding those numbers a little bit. I mean, really, if you add back in the yardage lost from sacks a couple years ago to his 674, I don't know how much closer he would have gotten to 1,000, but it would have been significantly more. Maybe in the mid 700 to almost 800 yard range. So the possibility is there, but again, the sack yardage does ding you a little bit. Even though, again, I'm not expecting anybody to get to 1,000 yards, but I'll not complain if somebody does.
Especially with that factor, it's gonna be tough to get to 1,000 yards. It takes a really special seat. If Lenore Sellers gets to 1,000 rushing yards, then we're probably talking about South Carolina, A, having a very good season, and B, he's probably going to end up in New York for the Heisman ceremony. I think it would lead to a very great year. But, yeah, when you factor in the sack yardage effects, the total rushing, yeah, it just makes it that much harder to get to that number.
Yeah, if Sellers ran for 1,000 yards and had, I don't know, 30 combined touchdowns, he's probably at least being invited to New York, right?
You would think so, probably.
Yeah. Which, hey, that'd be awesome, and we're not going to complain.
Yeah, that would mean it's a pretty good season. Much better than last year.
It certainly would, and here's hoping we can see some of that success this year and the run game return back to form to where it was 2 seasons ago. Scrimmage number 2 took place on Saturday afternoon. What did we learn? We'll talk about it coming up next. It is The Extra Point, Tyler and Jack, on your Monday on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game Summer Golf Classic is coming Friday, August 28th at Charwood Golf Club in the heart of Pine Ridge. Co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. 9:30 a.m. shotgun start. The world-famous onion sausage for breakfast. And Little Pig supplies lunch. The morning libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. The golf gun is back with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. Also, lots of free stuff. And you can win Gamecocks football tickets. $440 a foursome. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 and hit prompt number 2. Come hang out with us at the Game Summer Golf Event on Friday, August 28th. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
It's all right here for our friends over at Twin Peaks. Football is almost here. And there's only one place to catch all that great action. That's with our friends over at Twin Peaks. Wall-to-wall TVs with every game, every fight, and every big moment that you're looking for. And whether you're watching football, UFC, boxing, basketball, whatever, if it's on, it's over at the Lodge with those massive screens and perfect sight lines. It's great for game day watch parties and event nights as well. Pair those games with delicious food like burger, stacked, Thai, and cooked to order, smoked in-house wings, brisket, and more. And don't forget about a 29-degree draft beer served in a frosted mug to wash it all down with as well. Twin Peaks is your ultimate sports destination. No matter what season it is, your lodge away from home. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor, call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Mount Valley Foundation Services is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for detail.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown. You've been singing the Lawyer Lisa jingle for 12 years now. Have you come to see us yet? Book a Gamecock VIP consult today using discount code 26football before the first kickoff by visiting lawyerlisa.com/thegame.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Powered by Integrated Media.
The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
From Camden to Lexington or Orangeburg to Newberry, homeowners across the Midlands trust Canty Foundation Specialists. If your home has wall cracks, broken concrete, uneven floors, or crawl space problems, we got you covered. Just ask this local homeowner.
You can't beat something like that.
Call today for a free inspection. 803-424-8380 or visit us at CantyCanFixIt.com. Don't wait until it's too late.
Canty can fix it. I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Stressed about visualizing your home remodel? You're not alone. Planning a new space shouldn't feel like a guessing game. At CHW Cabinetry, we've taken custom design to a whole new level. Our ultra photorealistic renderings leave nothing to the imagination, giving you total peace of mind before construction even starts. Plus, we equip your contractors with a complete job site book packed with detailed drawings and exact specifications, ensuring a smooth, hassle-free installation. Take the guesswork out of your dream home. Visit chwcabinetry.com today and see your vision come to life.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game.
Extra Point with Tyler Head and Jack Veltri from Gamecock Central on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack along with you here on your Monday on the Game, inching ever closer to the start of the college football season. 12 days till Carolina kicks off against Kent State. And Saturday was another step towards the start of the season with scrimmage number 2 of preseason camp. This one occurred middle of the day on Saturday in the heat of the day, which will be more akin to what they're going to see against Kent State coming up on September the 5th. And compared to scrimmage 1 last week, I'd say fewer notes came out of this one, but I think the most important note, Jack, is nobody get injured.
Yeah, no, totally. That's what you always want to hear, because South Carolina has been dealing with some injuries even before the preseason started with Jacarius Peak and Dylan Stewart, obviously. And then last week, the news comes out about Jaden Sellers and Jaden Gibson being out for the year. So, yeah, I mean, the guys are going to have bumps and bruises, right? That's normal stuff. But overall, the fact that, like, nothing significant happened, that's a good sign.
No new updates when it comes to Jacarius Peak or Dylan Stewart. We'll learn about that come Tuesday when Beamer talks to the media. Once again, the story last week primarily was that the offense really kind of won scrimmage number 1, certainly came out of the gates hot, which you don't typically see. Typically the defense is ahead of the offense at this point in time. Themes seem to kind of revert back to the norm as the notes from Gamecock Central and Big Spur seem to indicate that the defense won the game on Saturday.
Yeah, and I've seen some fans have been a little bit concerned about that, like that's not what you want to hear or something from their standpoint. I kind of disagree, because the offense played relatively well in that first scrimmage by all accounts, and it's not like the offense was terrible this scrimmage from what's being reported out there through intel. It seems like the offense still held their own, but the defense won the day at the end of this scrimmage. So, and I think it's a good thing. I think it's good to see that the defense is doing its thing. And look, this defense is going to be a tough challenge for offenses this year, and it'll be a tough challenge for South Carolina to go up against in practice and whatnot, right? So, and I think South Carolina's offense will only get better going up against this defense. So, yeah, I think it's fine that the defense won the day in this scrimmage, and that I think it's a little overblown that it's a concern, because that would automatically maybe mean the offense didn't do well, but I don't think that's the case.
Well, I look at it like balance, right? You've had 2 scrimmages, and offense has won one of them, so to speak, and defense has won the other. Now, if we were looking at this from a standpoint, if the offense came out and won the second scrimmage in a row, then we're saying, hey, what's wrong with the defense? And if, the defense had just completely dominated the first two scrimmages, they were saying, hey, what's wrong with the offense? So, and look, all this is taken with a grain of salt. We don't get to see it. We don't get to put our eyes on it. We're going off of intel that you guys at Central and Big Spur and all those other outlets get from people on the inside. And there's details and stuff that get left out. There's bad things that happen that we may not really know about until much later. So we're just kind of going off of whatever trickles out. And if they said the defense won, we'll take their word for it and say, okay, well, that means they're even on the scoreboard at this point in time. One game for the offense, one game for the defense. And, I'll take that through two scrimmages personally.
Yeah, and speaking of the defense, some players that, stood out per what's being reported out there. Aiden Harris had a good scrimmage. Cassie Barnes, he's described as a physical tackler, so that's good to hear. And look, with Ethan Johnson, coming in from App State, the fifth-year TRO guy that got signed over the weekend and committed to South Carolina. I wonder how he's going to factor in to that DB room. But you look at it right now, I mean, Cassie Barnes could potentially be a guy that you have in the rotation at DB when the season gets going. So we'll see, but he's definitely looking good. I don't think it's really a surprise at this point, but it kind of seems like things are pointing towards Quashie Scott being the starter at nickel. And honestly, I mean, Gerald Kilgore's a nice option as well, but it seems like Scott had a pretty good scrimmage on Saturday, and no surprise here. We continue to hear good things about Gabe Brownlow-Dindy, who has done some great things this preseason on the defensive line, and definitely is going to be someone that South Carolina depends on a lot this season at defensive tackle.
You mentioned Aiden Harris, and look, we've rightfully so given a lot of praise to Noah Clark this offseason, and he's somebody that keeps popping up when we talk about scrimmages and practices as a guy that's making an impact where we just kind of assume, all right, he's going to be on the field in some capacity this year. Obviously, he's got that big physical size for plugging up run lanes and things like that. But Aiden Harris is somebody we haven't gotten a lot of time to, and he's a much different defensive lineman because he's about 3 inches shorter and about 70 pounds lighter than Noah Clark is, so more of an athletic, twitchy type of guy. And hearing him have a good scrimmage on Saturday, it begs the question of, okay, can he get himself in the rotation? I guess that's kind of the question with the defensive line is how deep are they going to be able to rotate, right? We talk about those hockey line shifts from a couple years ago where they could roll kind of 3 deep and bring in 3 different units whenever the guys up front needed a break. So can you get into like a 4th layer with a guy like Aiden Harris? How much can he earn some playing time out there? And it's one scrimmage, so that's not saying, all right, this guy's definitely going to be an every game type of guy, but it's something that kind of raises an eyebrow saying, okay, is this something that, means momentum going into the year where a guy like him could now make more of an impact on this defense?
If you're able to rotate the freshmen in this season consistently, I feel like that's a very good sign that you're pretty deep at that spot on the defensive line. I'm talking about the edge room as well, because I think we're going to see some young guys rotate in there throughout the season. But yeah, if you're able to get Clark and Harris in there consistently on the defensive line in the rotation, yeah, you probably you're already pretty deep. I think you're probably, off the top of my head, you're probably at least 7 guys deep in that defensive tackle room. All the veterans you have in there, plus Clark and maybe even Harris, you're in a really good spot, I think, to kind of have a similar output to the way you were 2 years ago when, yeah, like you said, Tyler, they were able to kind of have those hockey shifts where you have your certain lines and you're able to rotate guys in and out whenever they need a breather.
As we mentioned, the defense line did have a good day on Saturday. It was noted that they were batting some balls down, though. JC of the Big Spur did report that the offensive line wasn't getting dominated. So while the defensive line had a good day, it wasn't like they were wreaking complete havoc on the offensive line, which is a good thing to hear. Obviously, that's kind of the primary concern for everybody when we talk about practices and scrimmages. How good's the offensive line going to be? Because everything obviously falls in line behind that. So good to hear that they had at least a decent enough scrimmage on Saturday, and again, we're still trying to nail down exactly what that starting 5 is going to look like, especially when you talk about the fact that Jacarius Peak likely not going to be available for the first game or two this year. Who's going to play that left tackle spot? We'll certainly see. We know that Darius Gray's been getting some run at tackle, even though he came in as an interior offensive lineman. So I think we're all intrigued that about this time next week, when the first depth chart drops, who those starting 5 up front are going to be, because we've had a lot more questions about this lately than I think we maybe thought we were going to.
Yeah, I think the big question is I feel like probably Shed Surratt's probably starting at one of the tackle spots with Peak out. The question is who starts at the other tackle spot? Could it be Darius Gray? Could it be Dane Arnett? The transfer from Ferris State. Like there's definitely more questions, I think, at the tackle spot. But, interior wise, like it seems like it's probably going to be Carter Miller potentially, for that center spot. And then who fills out the guard spots? Feels like Kojo Poku is probably the guy at one of the guard spots. And then the other spot, probably left guard, is a little bit more open with Hank Purvis and Nolan Hay being the guys that are going at it. So we'll see what happens on that front. But yeah, it's good to hear. I think when the defense does well, it's nice to hear that the offensive line wasn't completely dominated. Again, the guys that are helping kind of provide the intel as sources are probably not going to share every single detail about what the offensive line did good and especially bad. Like that stuff's probably being left out to some degree, but still, I think it's good to hear that the offensive line, either way, was not just getting completely bullied and dominated the entire scrimmage.
And if you need any more for the Sequel Patterson hype train, Chris Clark noted that he was making guys miss in the open field on Saturday, so forcing some missed tackles when he got the ball in his hands, and continues to add to, again, the momentum of, hey, this guy's going to make some kind of impact this year on offense, whether it be as a starter at the slot position or somebody that gets, some decent run at that spot.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Sequel can do, man. I think he may not be a starter to open the year, but I think at some point this season we're going to see him have some real contributions in this offense.
So that's what we've at least heard out of scrimmage number 2. We'll see if any more details emerge in the next day or so ahead of Coach Beamer talking tomorrow. But we've got a new addition to the team, as Jack alluded to a moment ago. We'll tell you how that happened over the weekend coming up next. It is the Extra Point, Tyler and Jack on your Monday on The Game.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
You've seen them, the Goliath out-of-state law firms invading South Carolina, talking about how big they supposedly are. But if you've been in a bad wreck, all that big talk may not help you one bit. I'm attorney Michael Jeffcoat. I was born and raised right here in South Carolina. And as your neighbor, I'm committed to maximizing your recovery after a bad wreck. So after a serious injury, call Jeffcoat at 803-200-2000 because you deserve better.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers statewide. Officers must be at least 18 years of age and have a high school diploma or GED. If you have correctional, police, security, or military experience, you can join their team at a promotional rank as a sergeant or lieutenant. Discover a rewarding correctional career with room for long-term career advancement and a generous employee benefits package that cares for you and your family. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today. Sponsored by SC Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
Get this sweet deal on your new membership at the YMCA of Sumter. Visit the station's website this Friday at 9 a.m. Click on Sweet Deals and receive 50% off a 3-month membership, joining fees included. That's 50% off a 3-month membership at the Sumter YMCA, on sale this Friday.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Visit callAAAtoday.com to schedule an appointment. Tell them Preston on The Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Mike Rowe here with a fun fact. Did you know that 50% of the air that you breathe inside your home comes from your crawl space? Yeah. Whether your crawl space is wet, smells musty, or your floors are bouncy, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to repair your crawl space. Mount Valley Foundation Services is now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Vista Roofing, your local CertainTeed Select Shingle Master. Looking for a roof that's built to last? Trust the certified experts at Vista Roofing for professional installation, top-tier materials, and peace of mind backed by industry-leading warranties. From repairs to full replacements, Vista Roofing delivers durable results and exceptional service. Call now or visit VistaRoofingINC.com to schedule your free estimate. Vista Roofing, raising the standard one shingle at a time.
Hey, Mom and Dad, you know what back to school really means. It means rides. Rides to school, rides to practice, rides to meet other rides, rides to everywhere. This year, make all those rides comfortable, safe, and affordable with a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. School, soccer, football, dance, wherever you're headed. Ride in style and comfort with amazing technology, leading-edge safety, great gas mileage, and room for everything. Enjoy a no-hassle pricing and no-pressure buying experience at Honda of Columbia, Highway 378 at I-20.
In today's digital world, better data leads to better decisions. Join us September 17th at the Residence Inn on Matthias Road in West Columbia for the Your Data, Your Patients, Your Growth Digital Breakfast Seminar. Breakfast begins at 7 a.m. with the seminar at 7:30. Learn how HIPAA-certified marketing solutions, advanced audience intelligence, and digital DNA insights can help your organization reach the right audience and drive growth. Receive a free $1,500 radio advertising schedule. Space is limited. Call pound 250 Digital Growth to RSVP today. Shepherd's Glass has provided commercial, residential, and auto glass installation, repair, and replacement to Columbia for over 50 years. Large retail storefronts, auto, custom shower enclosures, and mirrors for that remodeling or new construction project. Visit shepherdsglass.com to see and learn more. Now with 2 locations on Platte Springs Road in West Columbia and Chapin at 855 Chapin Road. shepherdsglass.com.
Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Feltry from Gamecock Central. On the Game Network, the 107.5, the Game app, and the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Yeah, we've had some discussion, David. Really, we're kind of in a holding pattern until we get some more clarity from NCAA, SEC. I don't think anybody's really doing much of anything right now. Is there anything imminent? No. Is there any player that I've had a discussion with? If this passes, we want you to come back or we want to add you to our team. I have not. So I don't. Never say never. We'll always do what's best for our program, but don't anticipate anything changing.
Welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack along with you here on your Monday on the Game. That was the voice of Coach Beamer talking about 2 weeks ago when the initial stuff was happening with the class of 2022 and the opportunity to add some of those guys had become a possibility. Beamer was asked, hey, are y'all looking into anything like that? He said at the time, obviously, no, we're not. They hadn't had any discussions about it, but obviously you can't take anything off the table, which is what made it interesting this weekend, Jack, when South Carolina did add a player from the class of 2022 in cornerback Ethan Johnson from Appalachian State. He was a multi-time all Sun Belt cornerback for them, playing 4 years for them, putting up pretty good numbers. And again, he was involved in that TRO from a couple weeks ago with the 16 players, some of them being on NFL rosters. He was not one of those guys that were granted the extra year of eligibility, could immediately enter the transfer portal, and now South Carolina has plucked him out. The only one at this point in time that they've gotten out of there, but nevertheless creates an interesting dynamic in the cornerback room, as we alluded to a moment ago.
And the fact that they're able to add a guy with so much experience, like not just a fifth-year guy, but a fifth-year guy that has like been a real starter like over the last couple of years. I mean, he's made 39 starts in his time at App State from 2022 until last season. So played in 47 games. I mean, it just adds a lot of experience, if nothing else, to this DB room. And look, the DB room, I feel like is in pretty good shape. Was this ad like completely necessary? Like if this whole situation where the court rulings didn't happen, I think South Carolina would be fine. But adding a guy like this to the room does not hurt at all. And you can never have too much depth at any spot, especially at DB. So, yeah, I think this is a great addition, and we'll see what it becomes when the season gets going and what his role is with literally less than 2 weeks to go until the season begins. He's able to start practicing right away with the team. So, and he's immediately eligible. So there's no restraints. Like when the season begins, he'll be able to play, and I'm interested to see what kind of role he does have for this team.
Yeah, and look, this is just the sign of the times where we're at in college football these days in terms of these kind of things happening literally less than 2 weeks before the season begins. But like you said, he's a guy that comes in with a lot of experience, and we felt pretty secure in what South Carolina's had in what we assume are the two starting cornerbacks in Judge Collier and Vakari Swain. But now there's a very good chance this guy could plug in and take one of those spots. Which one, I don't know. He was primarily a boundary corner when he was at Appalachian State the past couple of years. But it's like, again, if you're Coach Beamer and you see an opportunity, as much as you love Vakari Swain, Judge Collier, you see an opportunity to get better at one of those spots, create more competition, or bring in a guy that could make an even more significant impact at one of those spots, I don't blame you for doing that. Again, it's funky. It's a funky set of circumstances on how this has happened, but I don't blame Beamer at all for seeing the opportunity and saying, all right, yeah, we'll bring this guy in. We can do that.
It will be interesting to see. I mentioned Kosi Barnes last segment. I'm kind of wondering who occupies the third cornerback spot, because it's going to be Judge Collier and Vakari Swain starting at DB this year. But who's the guy that fills the third spot, behind them in that room? Is it Barnes? Is it DeMarcus Leach? Heck, now is it Ethan Johnson? I really do wonder who fills that spot. Experience alone would give Johnson the edge, but Barnes, Leach have been going through practice with the team. They know the system. They know the playbook. So I think they get the advantage from that standpoint. But I feel like you wouldn't have brought in Johnson if you did. I'm sure they feel good about the guys they have, but I feel like you wouldn't have brought him in just to be a backup, to be a guy that is used sparingly. The guy has almost 40 starts in his career, like I said, Tyler. So it really is going to be interesting to see what the role Johnson fills is. He's probably not going to be a starter for this team right away with Collier and Swain occupying those spots, but could Johnson potentially play some safety or something, right? I feel like there's a lot of options with what you can use him for. So I think this is a good addition for those standpoints, to where he can definitely be a guy that just, even with less than 2 weeks to go before the season starts, I feel like he can get a good grasp of what's going on rather quickly.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you bring up, because, again, I'm assuming he's already on campus. He was able to join the team immediately, so it can take a little bit of time to get up to speed on this defensive system that Clayton White is running. But given his experience, once he's been here for a little bit, I don't doubt his ability to really factor in and be a starter. And look, a cornerback's position you can rotate through a lot, right? It's not just two guys on the field the entire time, so you're going to have options. But it is going to be interesting to see if and when he does factor into being the actual guy that starts at one of these spots once the season, starts rolling along. For game number one, probably not, because he's just so quick and new to campus. But given his experience and given what he's done in his college career, I don't have any doubts that this guy could be a legitimate starter at some point this year.
Definitely. The experience alone gives him a chance to be a starter. And look, if he's playing better than Swain or Collier, then yeah, it definitely deserves a chance to be in a starting role eventually. But that's a down the road hypothetical. If anything else, just add another body in that room. And with the way injuries happen in college football, man, you never know. And it's always good to have another guy in that room, let alone someone that, with this whole thing opening up for fifth year, for our guys to have another year of eligibility, the fact that you're able to get this guy, I think it is a little bit of crazy luck, but it's also it may turn out to be the best thing that happened for South Carolina here, was getting this guy.
Yeah, well, and as this was happening the other week with this new TRO. Of course, we looked at DQ Smith, who's involved in this and is now entered into the transfer portal as an option that Carolina could have pursued. Obviously, once that came out, it was pretty quickly noted by you guys at Gamecock Central that he was unlikely to rejoin South Carolina. He is in the portal. We'll see where he ends up landing. But, yeah, again, just kind of a out-of-nowhere surprise. And I think out of everybody with this TRO thing, I think Carolina was the first one to get a commitment from Johnson. We'll get what happened at LSU coming up here in a moment, but I think Johnson technically was the first commitment over the weekend out of this new group of guys from the most recent TRO.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think we saw anyone else. Was that correct? I don't think there was anyone else that like officially signed and committed anywhere. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a little bit of a like. It's a touchy subject because I think some people are like in the camp of like these guys need to be, moving on to whatever's next in their careers and whatnot. But here's the thing, like, and I think it feels a little bit different with Johnson because he wasn't on an NFL roster, right? He didn't get signed anywhere, so he never signed a professional contract, right? So I think it's a little bit different for a guy like this to come back and play another year of college football, or like a DQ Smith, for instance, who I know we'll get into here in the next segment with his situation. But I think it's different from guys that are literally going through preseason with an NFL team trying to make the 53-man roster, and then it's like, oh, if they get cut, then they can go back to college. Like I think that's way different than a guy that like this that wasn't on a roster anywhere and is coming back to school. Like the situation feels a little bit different from that standpoint.
Yeah, a little bit easier to swallow when this guy wasn't participating in a NFL preseason game a week ago or less than a week ago, because that's what happened with the Cleveland Browns and LSU, which we'll get to on the other side. It's the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack along with you on your Monday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100. That's 803-404-6100. And we'll be in touch. There's no catch. Times are tough, and we're here just trying to help you get folks in the door of your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
In an unprecedented move, the Cleveland Browns are waiving tight end Daquan Wright so that he can play college football at LSU. Benefiting from a recent Louisiana court ruling granting certain players an extra year of eligibility, Wright has an agreement in place to join Lane Kiffin with the Tigers. The bizarre situation caught Browns head coach Todd Monken completely off guard. I'm Drake Toll.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $700, plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hey, it's Tyler Reddick from 2311 Racing. Most slot games are a solo lap. Slot Masters on Chumba Casino puts you on the grid with two other players. Battle it out over a 2-minute run. Everyone's spinning at once, points stacking up, and the leaderboard updating before the clock hits 0. Are you ready to race? With over 200 casino-style games and new ones dropping every week, there's always something new to line up for. Join the fun at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in the state where it's legal to play.
Cozy season is ahead, and you'll be spending way more time inside. Is your home ready? Don't worry. With Wayfair, you can upgrade your space without breaking the bank. Score up to 70% off during their Labor Day clearance on furniture, area rugs, mattresses, and more. Plus, surprise flash deals you can't miss. Whether it's one room or the whole house, Wayfair has pieces for every style and budget.
Shop Wayfair's Labor Day clearance now through September 7th at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Accounts subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Sleep Number's new collections are designed to adapt to the changing nature of your life and your sleep needs. Whether it's the personalized comfort of the Comfort Mode mattress, the targeted pressure relief of the Comfort Next mattress, or the Climate Collection that actively cools or warms to help you fall asleep and stay asleep.
And now, all beds are on sale during our biggest sale of the year. Save 25% on the new Comfort Next Luxe, plus free delivery on any mattress. Ends Monday, only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Hey, it's Flo here to say drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Nice! With my new savings, I'll get some hiking gear. It'll be great for my outdoor era.
I don't know if it counts as an era if you just buy stuff.
I got a cute hiking backpack. It's an outdoor era.
Well, you only bought one thing. I don't think it's an era.
Well, I think we're in a agree to disagree era.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. Anyway, with the money you could save by switching to Progressive, you can afford to switch to other things in life. It's
my savings era.
Also, everything you do is not an era.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. The Extra Point.
And the kick is good!
With Tyler Head and Jack Beltry from Gamecock Central on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack wrapping up hour number 1 here on your Monday on the Game. And for the last weekend without college football, it was sure full of plenty of headlines revolving around college football, including history, Jack. For the first time ever, we have a guy that is going from an active NFL roster to a college football team in less than a couple days, assuming he clears waivers. DeQuan Wright, former Ole Miss tight end, who had been a member of the Cleveland Browns through the preseason, was suited up over the weekend when they were playing against the Bills in the preseason game. We'll get to more of what happened in that coming up in hour number 2, by the way. But he gets waived, and now he's on his way to rejoin his old coach, Lane Kiffin, down at LSU.
It's just, it's nuts. It's nuts. It should not be. I don't know. We talked about it in the last segment. I think it's a little different with guys like Ethan Johnson and DQ Smith because they're not going through preseason right now, and they're not on, they're not actively in competition to make a 53-man roster. DeQuan Wright, I'm literally watching a video from Twitter on my computer right now. Like, he was in full Browns uniform on Saturday going through scrimmage, and it's puzzling. It's puzzling. It's like, I understand having a fallback plan and all that, but the fallback plan should be, if you don't make the roster, you go to like the CFL or one of these other leagues or something where those guys go, not back to college. So I just think it's a strange situation, man, and it's something I don't think I was expecting to see in the year 2026.
So what does Browns head coach Todd Monken think of this whole situation? Here's what he said over the weekend.
Crazy. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, as far as I know, he's had a medical issue that wasn't allowing him to practice. That's a medical, issue. It's nothing to do with me, and then, and then he was cleared, so we dressed him just in case we had to have him. But when you don't rep, it's hard to put him on the field. JT was out there, so we didn't want to get Blake hurt, and he's only been with us a week, and we had a number of things where Browns hurt Browns, and which to the naked eye you won't see, but we had a number of things that way when you're putting in guys that haven't really been there, and some of that's true, and some of it, isn't good enough from us as coaches once they go out there. But, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, I wondered why Lane Kiffin reached out a week ago. Now I know.
And I think a lot of people say, well, of course, Lane Kiffin's the first one to get a guy from the NFL to come back to college. And you know what? I don't even blame Lane Kiffin in this instance. It's a really jacked up situation that the NCAA did to themselves. But if I'm Lane Kiffin, and look, you already got good tight end depth. They got Trey Green, who's 6'7". They're going to be just fine at the tight end spot. But if I got a guy that was a solid contributor for me the past couple years at Ole Miss that I can bring back in to add more depth to that room, I'm absolutely going to do it. Like, we talk about, how ridiculous and screwed up all this is, but coaches want a competitive advantage. Shane Beamer went out there and added a portal guy and Ethan Johnson, who wasn't on an NFL roster, but it's something that could potentially make this team better. And Lane Kiffin's doing the same thing at LSU. It's definitely a don't hate the player, hate the game type of situation. They're just taking advantage of a really messed up situation.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it feels like it's the teams running the show here and not the NCAA. The NCAA has just done a horrible job with this entire situation where it feels like the courts have all the power, the teams have all the power, and it feels like the NCAA is just sitting here letting it all go by. It's just crazy, man. It really is nuts that we're even that this is something that we even have to talk about is just really ridiculous. And I do wonder. We do know that the SEC has rules about transferring intra-conference and whatnot. So I'm kind of wondering if this would break those rules for the SEC and what that would look like. So it's a mess, man. And yeah, I mean, if he clears NFL waivers, he's going to be going back to college. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. And it's just crazy.
Yeah, and the inter-conference transfer thing is I guess the last hang-up on this, if we're looking at it, again, assuming he clears waivers to get off the Browns roster officially. But this is such a weird circumstance. I don't even know how the SEC and Greg Sankey officiate this. And I know, he sent out the memo the other week, as he talked about, telling teams to adhere to standard eligibility rulings, because here's the thing. If these TROs get overturned and there's a court date coming up on August 31st that will decide the fate of guys like Daquan Wright and Ethan Johnson, then you're potentially facing, repercussions down the road if these guys end up playing in games for you and things get overturned later down the line. I don't know how all this is going to work. It's a really weird situation, but for the time being, we officially have our first player that's gone from the NFL back to college in Daquan Wright.
Yeah, I mean, once he clears waivers, it'll be official, but it's crazy, man. One day you could be playing in the NFL preseason, and the next you could be getting ready to suit up for a college football team again. It's strange, man, and it's just crazy times in this wonderful sport.
That's going to be a really fun trivia question one day in several years.
Oh, yeah.
Who's the first or maybe only player to go from the NFL back to college? Daquan Wright.
Yeah. And yeah, it's nuts, man. So
we'll see what happens. We'll also get in more of the insane things that happened for the Browns over the weekend and the controversy there, as well as some college football headlines coming up in hour number 2. It is The Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Monday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Give them a call today at 803-677-1500 to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of special extras like flexible visits, added discounts, priority scheduling, and so much more. AAA Heating and Air also offers indoor air quality products that work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens, pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses that may be out there. So go to callAAAtoday.com for more info. Call 3AsToday.com for more info. Tell them Jack from 107.5 The Game sent you on over.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
Your dog is limping, but she seems fine. Plus, Plus, you've heard they can fake it just to get what they want. So what's the deal now? You're being gaslit.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Oh, now she switched legs. What a diva.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Join Lexington Health for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit t2trun.org.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
Visit the go-to spot for dining in downtown Columbia. Step into the Golden Spur, the official restaurant of the University of South Carolina. From bold, crave-worthy lunches to elevated dinners, plus handcrafted cocktails that hit every time. The Golden Spur brings the flavor every visit. Planning something special? From celebrations to business gatherings, their private dining and event spaces set the perfect scene. The Golden Spur, where campus meets community. Located at 700 Lincoln Street, right across from Colonial Life Arena. Come see what everyone's talking about. It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff. 12 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
Oh, yeah.
The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome back in hour number 2 of the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Monday on the game. A college football game week Monday. As you mentioned at the top of the show, we're going to have actual college football to watch this upcoming weekend with week 0. And, we'll obviously break these games down a little bit more later on in the week. But a reminder of some of the things you can look forward to this upcoming weekend. North Carolina and TCU taking each other on in the Aer Lingus Classic out there in Ireland. You've got Southern California playing host to San Jose State, so you get a chance to see a pretty highly ranked team in the Trojans play on Saturday at 3 o'clock. You got UNLV in Memphis. You got North Dakota State and Jacksonville State. You got Hawaii and Stanford, just name a few. You've obviously got FCS action. You got NC State and Virginia. As we kind of mentioned at the top of the show, Jack, a pretty full day where you can have just about something to catch your interest in just about every time slot on Saturday.
Absolutely. There's a game on literally at all the peak hours of the afternoon going into the evening. Like, it's all pretty good games. Like, yes, you have your games mixed in, like I mentioned, like Southern Cal's playing, Florida State's playing, but they're playing no-name teams that they're going to beat by, 30, 40 points. It's the other games that I think are going to be interesting. Like the game in Ireland, It has the potential. I mean, it was a blowout last year, so it very well could be again this year with UNC. Who knows how they're going to be? But then the other games throughout the day, like, man, I'm going to be locked in that NC State-Virginia game. And I'll tell you, potential sleeper game of the day, I think, is that Memphis-UNLV game. I think that one at 8 o'clock in Vegas on Saturday night, it's going to be really good.
Yeah, no doubt. Looking forward to that. And, again, we'll get a chance to break those games down a little bit more later on in the week. And just looking forward to being able to sit back on Saturday and taking all that great college football action. By the way, North Carolina last week named Billy Edwards, the former Maryland and Wisconsin transfer, as their starting quarterback. How successful is that going to be? Heck, I don't know. In case you've forgotten as well, Bobby Petrino is the offensive coordinator there now. If North Carolina couldn't be any more ridiculous and storyline filled, Bobby Petrino being the offensive coordinator under Bill Belichick is just a bomb waiting to explode, right?
Yeah, it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, you don't think Bill's going to make it through the season, right? So I don't either, honestly. I don't know how this is going to work. You know, for UNC, I think it's so critical for them to get a win in week one. If they're able to, or week 0, if they're able to win this game here, I think that changes a lot of the thoughts about what we thought this team was going to be heading into the year. And maybe it silences a little bit of the doubt, because if they're winning this game, they're beating a good TCU team. So, yeah, huge game for them coming up here on Saturday.
Well, and listen, Bobby Petrino may be a slime ball, but he's not dumb, right? He got to Arkansas as it was very clear that Sam Pittman was likely going to be fired. And guess what? He got to take over as the interim head coach after they fired Pittman last year. Now, he didn't end up getting the head coaching job because they hired Ryan Silverfield, but he also conveniently goes to North Carolina at a time where it seems like Bill Belichick might not make it through the season if in last year was any indication. And guess what? Bobby Petrino's in perfect position to be the interim head coach once again. How convenient is that?
How convenient indeed. How convenient. So we'll see if it ends up happening, but it wouldn't shock me if Bobby Petrino's the interim at some point this year.
So that's something to look forward to on Saturday, is seeing how those two are going to coexist and see if North Carolina is any better than the awful team they were one season ago, despite, hey, their opening drive against TCU last year at home in Chapel Hill might have been the highlight of the year. After everything past that was downhill.
Yeah, no, totally. Not too great for UNC last year.
So Saturday gets things rolling for the college football season, and the following week, of course, full slate. Everybody will be in action for week 1. And over the weekend, we have learned some more starting roles being defined at the quarterback position across the SEC, most notably Keelan Russell officially being given the nod by Alabama to be the starting quarterback as a redshirt freshman, I guess, because he didn't start any games a season ago. Not really surprising here as we followed this dynamic through the offseason. The thought was, hey, Austin Mack has been in this system, familiar with Ryan Grubb's offense, but man, there's a higher athletic upside with Keelan Russell, which is what we knew about him coming out of high school. Not really shocked they decided to go this way with him as the starting quarterback.
No, not at all. I think some of DeBoer's comments at Media Day in Tampa kind of made you think, like, hold on a second. As much as Russell's getting the hype here to be QB1, don't sleep on Austin Mack. Like, he had some really good things to say about him that made you think, like, all right, this may be a little bit of closer competition than we're really giving it credit for. But at the end of the day, Russell wins out, and I don't really think that comes as the biggest surprise. I think it would have been a much bigger surprise if Austin Mack's the starter for Alabama. And I don't doubt Austin Mack couldn't have done a fine job being QB1 for Alabama. Heck, if for whatever reason Russell gets hurt or things aren't just working and they decide to go with Mack at some point this year, I think you feel like, okay, it's not the worst thing. Like you could probably survive. But Russell has the higher upside. He's the 5-star prospect coming out of high school, really talented player. Like he's going to be someone that I think does really good things at Alabama. Now, that said, first time really starting at this level. Alabama plays South Carolina week 4. Like, there's probably going to be some hiccups early in the season. It's a good thing South Carolina is getting to play Alabama early in the year while they're figuring out everything with Russell in this offense. But the thing is, now you have 2 weeks here with your Alabama to kind of let Russell lead the offense as QB1 full-time, get those first team reps, and get comfortable before the season begins. And then you get East Carolina, and then after that, it's Florida State you get Florida State pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. Russell will have time to get ready for when things start to pick up before SEC play.
Yeah, and that's one benefit of where it comes for South Carolina. The schedule is you'll have 2 weeks of him playing good to solid teams in Kentucky and Florida State to get a good sense of how good he is against quality-ish opponents in those 2 weeks before Carolina gets him. Obviously, it's a home game. I'd feel a lot better if he was coming into Williams-Brice Stadium as opposed to playing at home at Bryant-Denny. But nevertheless, you're going to face a guy at that point in time making his 4th career start. So like you said, there's still going to be some bugs and jitters to work out that hopefully a very experienced South Carolina defense can take advantage of.
Yeah, that's definitely the hope there. But, yeah, it's not really a surprise that Russell's the starter for Alabama. He had a very good spring game earlier this year where he threw for 4 touchdowns with 1 interception. So, and it's a spring game, but still, he's impressed so far in preseason camp. And it just makes sense that he's the guy. And you feel for Mac to some degree because he has been in the DeBoer Grubb system for so long at this point. And he followed DeBoer and Grubb to Alabama in hopes of being the starter. It just hasn't worked out that way. But again, you never know when your name's going to be called. We've seen that before at Alabama when the backup proves to be very valuable. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, Keelan Russell, the guy heading into the 2026 season.
Yeah, famously, Jalen Hurts started the season on the bench in 2016 behind Blake Barnett, and it only took a half of football for them to make that change, and obviously the rest is history there. So, you never know, but not surprising that, Keelan Russell gets the nod here. Also not surprising that Faison Brandon also named the starting quarterback at Tennessee just earlier on this morning, so a bit of a breaking news when it comes to that one. He'd been in the offseason battle with George McIntyre, who's a redshirt freshman, but Faison Brandon, again, a guy coming in highly touted of high school, seems to have the higher upside, and he becomes the first true freshman quarterback to start for Tennessee since Brent Schaefer all the way back in 2004. So a bit unprecedented in the past 20 or so years, but again, everything that we've heard about Faison Brandon coming into the year, like Keelan Russell, not surprising that he would get the nod from Josh Heupel.
Not surprising. This is another one that I think it just made sense, right? Another guy that is a 5-star prospect, one of the top overall players from the class of 2026. Yes, McIntyre had a year in the system to learn and whatnot, and Brandon's coming in here with no college experience. But at the end of the day, I think the upside wins out here to where I think you have a much better chance with Faison Brandon, who will probably go through some hiccups, just like Keelan Russell will in his first time as a starter this season out there in Knoxville. So, yeah, I think just the talent and the development win out over McIntyre having a year of familiarity with what this offense is.
Well, and I look at things from a Tennessee perspective because, again, that's a team that South Carolina will also get to see this year, and that's a team that's going to have to come in to Williams-Brice Stadium the week after they play Alabama. So you're going to get the dynamic of Keelan Russell versus Austin Mack in the 3rd Saturday in October, and then following that, also as well, this is important to note, Tennessee is going to play 8 straight games to start the year before their bye week. Their bye week comes on Halloween, which is the week after they play South Carolina. So Faison Brandon will have gone through 7 straight games, including a huge rivalry game against Alabama the week before coming into Williams-Brice Stadium for the October 24th game. Again, that's something that I feel like can really play into the favor of South Carolina with a young, inexperienced quarterback who will only be 2/3 of the way through his first career season.
And having the bye week before you play Tennessee gives you that extra time to get prepared for what he's going to be, because he's going to be a threat with his arm and his legs. So that could be a little bit tricky for South Carolina to stop. But having the extra week of preparation, I think, leans towards favoring South Carolina in this game. And the other question is, like, how is Tennessee actually going to be this year? I feel like there's no direct read on what they're going to be. It's either make the college football playoff potentially as a dark horse or win like 6 games. I really don't think there's any in between here with this Tennessee team. So we'll know by this point in the year when mid-October rolls around and South Carolina's getting ready to play these guys, like what type of team is Tennessee? And for South Carolina, you're hoping it's a team that's a lot more beatable than a team that may be like unbeaten or a one-loss team by this point in the year. And the other thing with Brandon is, yes, South Carolina gets more time to prep for him, but he's also going to be way more experienced coming into that game, say, compared to a Russell that you're playing in week 4 of the year. Like you said, Tyler, Faison Brandon will be 2/3 of the way through his freshman season. So by that point, you're not really a freshman anymore. Like after the first month or so, you kind of know, like you kind of have it, not fully under your belt, but you're not a freshman, if that makes sense.
Well, one thing that works in his favor is the fact that just about all quarterbacks in the Heupel system at Tennessee have been pretty good and pretty successful because that's a very quarterback-friendly type of offense. So I don't doubt that Faison Brandon's going to be able to plug in and have some degree of success this year. We'll absolutely hope that just doesn't happen when they come to Willie B on October 24th. But a couple of young quarterbacks with no starting experience going to be on South Carolina's schedule this year, confirmed. As, again, we kind of thought when we were going through this a couple weeks back, and I'm sure as we go through the next day or so, we'll get more quarterback battles sorted out around the rest of the SEC for those teams like Vanderbilt and stuff like that haven't officially named a starter yet.
Yeah, and one more real quick note. We do know that Ahmad Hardy is not going to be ready for the start of the season. Yep. Missouri's top running back. So Pete Thamel reported that the target for his return is potentially mid-September, which makes sense. I mean, they'll get Kansas in non-conference play, but I think Missouri can survive without him until they get into SEC play.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks and being named starters, we have one in the NFL, and oh boy, after this weekend, that creates an interesting dynamic between this guy and the fan base. We'll tell you who that is coming up next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack with you on your Monday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
The Game Summer Golf Classic, sponsored by White Brown Smiles, is coming Friday, August 28th at the Charwood Golf Club in the heart of Pine Ridge. Co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. 9:30 a.m. shotgun start. The world-famous onion sausage for breakfast. And Little Pig supplies lunch. The morning libations bar from Saki's Wine and Spirits. The Golf Gun is back with proceeds going to Camp Discovery. Also, knock down a hole-in-one and win a vehicle from Pound Automotive Group. Play the Vegas hole sponsored by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000 and hit prompt number 2. Come hang out with us at the Game Summer Golf Event, sponsored by White Brown Smiles on Friday, August 28th. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
From the people who brought you It's the Dog Park comes.
Your dog is limping, but she seems fine. Plus, you've heard they can fake it just to get what they want. So what's the deal now? You're being gaslit.
Protect your dog from injury and illness with Progressive Pet Insurance.
Oh, now she switched legs. What a diva.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Snooze button or choose button? $5 deals at McDonald's give you options. Start your day with the $5 Sausage McMuffin with Egg Extra Value Meal. Or mix and match 2 for $5 and choose your favorites, like a savory hot Sausage McMuffin with egg or a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles with that sweet taste of maple. Yum! Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price. Promotional pricing may be lower than meal pricing.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
Injured? Dial pound law.
Joe Standifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Burroughs Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
Currently car shopping? State Credit Union just announced a new lower car loan interest rate, as low as 3.95% APR with no payments for up to 90 days. Visit one of their 8 Midlands locations or their website, scscu.com, to take advantage of car loan rates as low as 3.95% APR today. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Federally insured by the NCUA.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of Whirlpool appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Whirlpool offers bigger, better, and more efficient appliances, and Jeffers McGill offers the best in customer service and low prices. Jeffers McGill and Whirlpool, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Like it or not, crime is a reality. Help protect your family with the Byrna Less Lethal Launcher. Trusted by law enforcement, the Byrna Launcher has powerful non-lethal deterrence, a 60-foot range, stopping attackers up to 40 minutes. Byrna is legal in all 50 states, requires no background checks or permits, and can be shipped right to your door. And for a limited time, save 25% site-wide at Byrna.com. Hurry, the sale ends Monday. Visit Byrna.com today. That's Byrna.com. Must be 18 plus. Purchase and shipping restrictions vary by state and municipality. Go to Byrna.com to check availability at your location.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, welcome back in. Extra Point. Tyler and Jack along with you here on your Monday on the Game. We're closing in on the start of not only the college football season, but the NFL season as well. And there's a lot of quarterback battles that need to be settled. One of them just got settled a little earlier on this morning as the Cleveland Browns have officially named Deshaun Watson their Week 1 starter, which is an interesting decision because he didn't have the best game on Saturday when they scrimmaged or had the preseason game against the Bills. Shedeur Sanders, say probably won the competition or won the battle that day at least, after Deshaun Watson had the better preseason game number 1. But the real story coming away from this weekend was Deshaun Watson's comments about the Browns fan base as they were playing this game at home. And well, as he wasn't playing well on Saturday, he was treated to a chorus of boos, which he took quite offense to. Here's what Deshaun Watson said on Saturday.
Man, I didn't have no reaction. I think the biggest thing is I think you guys know too, and I think the whole world knows. It has nothing to do about the performance. It's a little bit personal than that. So I think that's it's a disrespectful thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna keep whatever I feel with me and my family internally on how I feel about that, and yeah, just move on.
But don't you think, Deshaun, that winning and playing better would eliminate some of that booing?
Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. And that same fan base, they cheered when I got hurt. So does that have to do with what does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person get hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer.
Oh, boy. Well, congratulations, Browns fans. That's your starting quarterback talking about how much he doesn't like you right now.
Yeah, and Todd Monken made it clear that the press conference stuff from Deshaun wouldn't factor into the QB decision for who would be starting, and it ended up being the case. So, look, here's the simple way to look at it. You're paying this guy $40 million this season to, play quarterback for you, right? It's a 5-year deal that you signed with him back in 2022. And
the stupidest contract in NFL history.
It is just not, $230 million contract.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Yes. It's a lot of money you're paying him. And you look at Shedeur Sanders, 5th round pick. The optics of not playing the guy that you're paying so much money to against, you'd be playing a 5th round pick over that guy. Yeah, it would look bad. There's no good optics in the situation. It's either play Shedeur, the 5th round guy that really hasn't looked amazing by any means, over the guy that's getting paid the most on your roster, versus play the guy that's hated by the fan base as your starting quarterback. It's just not. The Browns don't win in this situation, and I can understand why they're starting Deshaun for the financial reasons of, if you're paying that guy that much money, you probably need to start the season with him at quarterback. But Tyler, as you mentioned, he did not play well in Saturday's game against the Bills. 5 of 12 passing, 36 yards, threw an interception. I was watching some of the highlights from the game. He did not look great throwing the football. Just some poorly placed passes. And Shedeur looked better. 9 of 11, 74 yards, a touchdown with an interception. Not amazing, but not as bad as what we saw from Deshaun. So does Deshaun deserve to be QB1? Probably not. But I understand why he's going to be QB1, because when you pay a guy that much money, heck, if I'm in that situation, I'm at least giving the guy that is getting paid franchise money to be the starter, at least at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, look, the Browns are going to try and make this Deshaun Watson thing work for as long as they can, because, again, they got so much money tied up in him with that big, huge guaranteed contract from a couple years ago. Is it going to work? Probably not. And now you have this extra rift between him and the fan base. Let's go back to the comments that he made in that clip that we played a moment ago. For one, if you were playing better, the fans wouldn't be booing you, right? A lot of this centers around all the stuff that happened with the sexual harassment allegations and all that stuff that happened off the field. That's already dinging you a little bit because they just believe that you're a bad person, right? When you're going out there and playing bad football too, that's where the boos come from as well. If you're playing good, people will forgive those things, whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just how people operate as sports fans, regardless of what you've done on the field, off the field. If you're helping them on the field, they'll love you and cheer you no matter what. But you're not doing that. You're sucking, quite frankly, and have sucked about the entire time you've been in Cleveland. So the fans really don't have any reason to cheer for you on the football field. And then you're doing less than flattering things off the football field. That's not helping the case as well. You're also setting the franchise back many years with how much money they're having tied up in you, because now they're being forced into these situations where they have to start you even though you probably don't deserve to start because of how much money they're paying you. Here's the thing, though. A lot of this can change if Deshaun goes out here and actually plays well and has a good season. You're still going to have your critics out there that are booing and whatnot, and the Browns fan base, I think, will hate him regardless. But if he's going out there and playing well, then I think that justifies this decision a little bit and makes it a little bit easier to swallow. But right now, he's got the entire – no, I don't think anyone really agrees with this decision. I think it's not a good decision for the Browns to be playing this guy. He doesn't deserve to be the starter, but because he's getting paid $40 million freaking dollars this season, you have to play him. You really don't have a choice. And I think this is something that just kind of shows – that this wasn't even really a QB competition during camp. I feel like this probably came from the higher ups, like a Jimmy Haslam,
that probably just made the decision like, look, we're paying this guy this amount of money. He's going to be starting at quarterback for us this year.
Yeah, and to correct myself, it wasn't sexual harassment. It was sexual assault, and I believe it was 24 such instances of that, which, again, just further add to why this fan base is not on your side by any means. And quite frankly, I don't think they're ever going to be. Even if he does have some good performances, I think that bridge has been officially burned between him and the fan base. And unfortunately, he can't go anywhere right now because of all the money they have tied up in him. This is the most Cleveland Browns thing to ever happen. You have a quarterback get a ridiculous amount of money, quarterback that gets into all this controversy off the field, and now he's beefing with the fan base. And that list of quarterbacks on the back of that guy's jersey is just going to keep growing and growing and growing, because here's the thing. They're probably going to be looking for somebody in next year's draft more likely than not.
Hey, but here's the alternative. If Deshaun doesn't play well this year and he's your starter pretty much all year, I mean, if he's not playing well at some point, Shador's going to take over. But it just means the Browns have a much better chance of getting the first overall pick. So maybe that's Deshaun's gift to Cleveland, is going to be giving a bad season, which leads into the Browns getting the first pick for next year's draft.
Yeah, we'll certainly see. But the Browns continue to be the most dysfunctional franchise maybe in all of sports right now. They're certainly up there. And I feel for Todd Monken because I like him as a play caller. I thought he did a really good job. George did a good job at the Ravens, but this just seems doomed, right? I mean, look, Shador's probably going to get his opportunity, but the Browns system has failed pretty much every single quarterback they've had for the past 25 years. So I don't have much belief that he's going to go in there and make much of it. You know, can he have a better career somewhere else? Maybe. But just everything with the Browns touch turned to, well, crap, essentially.
Yeah, that is the situation. This is the most Browns thing to happen, but it is also an opportunity for Deshaun to prove a lot of people wrong. So I highly doubt he's going to. He hasn't really shown us any reason why he would, but hey, we'll see.
Yeah, and again, for somebody in Deshaun Watson's position that has done as many things as he has done off the field, you're not the victim here, bro. Don't play victim, right? Yeah, booing someone when they get injured, less than flattering, but that fan base has a lot of reasons baked into why they are cheering someone when they get injured is not flattering, but that fan base has a lot of reasons baked into why they were doing that, not just because you weren't playing good football, man.
Gotta feel for Browns fans, though. What a rough day for them.
Ooh, yeah. I can't imagine what Cleveland sports radio was like this morning. I might have to
It's on fire. It's probably on fire.
I might have to find some podcasts later today to listen to see how they're reacting to this.
Oh, it's going to be bad, man. Oh.
What else happened in the NFL preseason over the weekend? We'll hit that coming up next. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Monday here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
A moment of good feels from your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Rattler crossing route, got it. And that's Jalen Brooks at the 10, the 5. Jalen going for it. Touchdown, Carolina. Touchdown, Jalen Brooks.
Now that's some good feels right there.
Spencer Rattler has done what no other Carolina quarterback has ever done. He's thrown 6 touchdown passes on the night.
From 107.5 The Game and The Game Network.
Hey Gamecock fans, Tom Reek with South Carolina Lumber and Supply in Casey, South Carolina. Whether it's an accent wall or a full house remodel, we have everything you'll need. From high grade to low grade, we have 1x6 8-foot shiplap starting at $4 a board. Come check us out at 2245 Julius Felder Street in Casey, South Carolina. We're open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Come see us. Phone number is 803-608-3097. Again, that's 803-608-3097. Go Gamecocks.
Hey, Mom and Dad, you know what back to school really means. It means rides. Rides to school, rides to practice, rides to meet other rides, rides to everywhere. This year, make all those rides comfortable, safe, and affordable with a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. School, soccer, football, dance, wherever you're headed. Ride in style and comfort with amazing technology, leading-edge safety, great gas mileage, and room for everything. Enjoy a no-hassle pricing and no-pressure buying experience at Honda of Columbia. Highway 378 at I-20.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. The spring is here. Dust, pollen, spring cleaning, all those important things. But have you even thought about the air quality inside your home? How are those air ducts holding up? Well, AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Visit them on the website. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, that's call AAAtoday.com. Call AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Join Lexington Health for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit t2trun.org.
Why are we called Gamecock Traditions? Because we've been a part of Gamecock life since 1984. For decades, our free beat stickers have been a part of game day, and we've given away more than 20 million of them. We also offer free football wall schedules, cash back on every purchase, and the opportunity to support Gamecock NIL when you shop. At Gamecock Traditions, we live Gamecock sports. We stock and restock what Gamecock fans want most. Shop in-store or online at GamecockTraditions.com. Gamecock Traditions, for Gamecocks, by Gamecocks. We're Gamecocks too.
The U.S. Soccer Podcast. These players are battered and exhausted, but you don't hurt like this if you don't care about this team, about this country, about this game.
You can feel the intensity, the goals, the energy, the wow, look at us.
Here in the U.S., I have got some news for you. There's so much more to come. My name is Megan Klingberg, and we're just getting started. The U.S. Soccer Podcast,
presented by Henkel. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack along with you here on your Monday on the Game. You know, we're almost college football season. Baseball season is wrapping up, and we've only got a few more Columbia Fireflies games left to go. Jack, I think you said you were out there. Was it yesterday?
I was out there yesterday. It was hot out, man, but yeah. it was a good time.
Well, that's why you got to go into the little awning area. Again, it keeps you nice and cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were in the shade, man, but it was hot. It was hot.
Well, only a few more home games left for the Columbia Fireflies. One of those being tomorrow night as they take on the Charleston River Dogs. And I have some tickets here. I have one family 4-pack of tickets and one 2-pack of tickets to the first two people on the text line to text in Fireflies. Again, one person will win a 4-pack. One person will win a pair of tickets to go see the Fireflies tomorrow night as they take on the Charleston River Dogs as they are getting close to wrapping up the minor league baseball regular season. So again, text in 803-404-6100 Fireflies if you want to win those tickets. Anything else stand out for you this weekend from the NFL preseason? I know, like, the first weekend of preseason has a lot of excitement to it because there's all these games going on. You can watch different position battles and things like that. I feel like week number 2 dies off a little bit because, like, all right, now maybe not as many starters are playing before week number 3. And, you know, it just kind of depends on team to team what you see.
I'm feeling pretty good about the Bills. I will say that. I mean, in that Browns, speaking of the Browns, I mean, the Bills dominated that game, winning 31-7. So, yeah, I feel pretty good about where the Bills are at. You know, Kyle Allen and Shane Buechele, you know, played pretty well as the backups in that game. You know, for the Bills this year. So, felt pretty good about where they're at from this standpoint. But obviously, some other big news is Ashton Jeanty, who had to be helped off the practice field yesterday and apparently could not put like any weight on his leg. And I think when that happens, you're like, man, fearing the worst. And it's not like Jeanty had like this amazing rookie season last year. Like, definitely a bit of work to do to be where he needs to be as a first-round pick from last season. But ultimately ends up having just a sprained ankle, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN. So it's unclear how long he's going to be out. But with that type of injury, it's not going to be long-term. So I think that is a nice sigh of relief for the Raiders, who could have potentially been missing their top running back for much longer than expected.
Well, the concern with that is that it re-aggravates itself, right? When you talk about ankles, whether it be twisted ankles, sprained ankles, whatever, those kind of things can, you know, pop back up again and again. And for a guy like Jeanty, who, like you said, had a okay, you know, rookie season in the NFL, it's the load of rushes that he takes, though. And I saw the stat this morning. Out of all running backs in the NFL, he had the second most percentage of carries for his team, only behind Jonathan Taylor a year ago. So they rely so much on him in this offense, and especially when you talk about a guy like Fernando Mendoza, that we assume is going to be starting at some point this year for the Las Vegas Raiders. Having an efficient running back there to help you out goes a really, really long way. So the Raiders desperately need Ashton Jeanty to get back to full health. Again, he's not going to play any more preseason games. We'll see what his availability is when week 1 rolls around in a couple weeks. But got to be very careful with those lower body injuries with running backs, because those things can, you know, just keep coming back up again and again throughout the season.
Yeah, you definitely want to take care of that. And, you know, when you look at Jeanty, I didn't even realize he almost rushed for 1,000 yards last year. And he's such – we knew this about him, but he's such a big part of the passing game as well. He was targeted 73 times last year, had 55 catches for a little over 300 yards. So this is a guy that, yeah, you talk about focal point of the offense. He's the lead running back, but he's also one of the guys you like to go to in the passing game. So, yeah, his health, you hope he's not out for the longest time. You look at the start of the season, the first 3 games of the year in September, home versus the Dolphins, at the Chargers, at the Saints. 2 of those games, I think the Raiders can potentially beat the Dolphins and the Saints, who I don't expect to be very good this year. So, and then you get the Chiefs in week 4. So, yeah, you definitely would like to have Jeanty back as October gets going. But the good news is with this, it's not like a season-ending injury or anything. But like you said, Tyler, the ankle is something you can definitely re-aggravate if you're not careful. So you don't have a ton of time, but you want to take your time as much as you can with getting him ready to go.
I'm beginning to enjoy the annual tradition that happens every single year in the NFL preseason, where Joe Milton goes out there and has a ridiculous game, and all the like trending topics on Twitter for that night are all about Joe Milton and him being the starting quarterback for that team. He's on the Dallas Cowboys right now. And he went out there and had a really strong performance the other day against the Cardinals, 9 of 13, 179 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and did have one of those on a deep ball that he threw in that game. And I just wait until Dak Prescott has one bad game, and the people in Dallas can be calling for Joe Milton to start. I'm go ahead and calling it now.
I don't know about that. We'll see. Dak's the guy.
Oh, he's the guy, but he has a bad game. It's going to happen.
Maybe, especially with the way Milton played. Then again, it was against the Cardinals, arguably, well, not really arguably, I think they're going to be the worst team in the NFL this season. and a lot of it was probably coming against backups. So there's that to take into account. The good news, I think, for the Cowboys is that Dak has an injury history. So if he ever gets hurt, like I've seen people talking about, which team needs to trade for Joe Milton that needs a quarterback. Honestly, if I'm Dallas, I'm keeping him. Like I think there is potential that if Dak ever gets hurt this season, you have a nice little quarterback 2 option to have with your backup being Joe Milton. So keep him. And unless you get some really good offer from a team that could use a quarterback, like I'm sure the Browns could use a quarterback right now instead of Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders. But look, keep him. He's a nice backup to have, and I will be interested to see, if Dak doesn't have a great, but I don't think that's the case. I think the amount of money that the Cowboys are paying Dak, he's the starter even beyond if it has one bad game. But I think Cowboys fans want to win, right? Yeah. And I think Dak's been there long enough to earn that respect. But Joe Milton, performances like this only help his case.
Well, and that's why I bring it up, because it's so funny. Because then, look, we saw him play when he was at Tennessee, and dude has a rocket launcher for an arm and can throw the ball 8 million yards down the field. His consistency and completion percentage were things that were obviously a topic of conversation during his college career. So I don't know how well that translates to be an everyday starter in the NFL. But again, every single year we have that one game in the preseason where he lights it up, has a couple of deep passes, and then everybody's like, oh my God, this Joe Milton guy. For those that maybe didn't see him in college, over the course of his entire career. But it is funny how this comes up like every single year. And like I said, Dak Prescott has one bad game. There's going to be people in that Dallas fan base saying, hey, we need to start Joe Milton, even though that's ridiculous and isn't going to happen.
Yeah. So I don't anticipate Milton playing anytime soon, but definitely is a nice option to have as the backup for the Cowboys this year.
One more note from the preseason. The Chiefs took on the Buccaneers, and Harrison Butker did this.
Buckner. It's not cold. And he drilled it. He got this, I think. He absolutely got this. 69 yards. Are you kidding me, Coach?
He'll kick your Butker, won't he? This guy's something else. Every time I come to town, Harrison Butker lights it up. I should be his agent. 69 yards. Are you kidding me?
69 yards, and John Gruden being on the call just makes that even better. These kickers are getting ridiculous, man. And I know now they're able to massage the balls a little bit more, work them in prior to the game, how much that helps. I've heard it's a couple of yards. But, man, these kickers are nailing it longer than ever before. And we'll see if somebody can nail a 69-yarder in the season, and because that was impressive by Butker the other day.
It feels like we're getting closer to somebody hitting from 70 yards in a game. It feels like over the last decade, Tyler, that the records for longest kicks have just been getting shattered. Like, it feels like so long ago when Matt Prater broke the record with the Broncos for, like, the longest kick. And I felt like that was going to be the peak of where NFL kickers were making kicks from. But it feels like that's routine distance for some guys. Now, like Brandon Aubrey, I just drafted him in fantasy yesterday as my starting kicker. Speaking of the Cowboys from Dallas, like he's a guy that I think of as a guy that can consistently make those kicks. But, man, it's crazy to see the distances guys are kicking from now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see because Cam Little has the record at 68 yards. So Butker won't break that unless he does it in the regular season. So we'll see how many guys can hit 69 or farther when the regular season does get here. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 2, hit our future headlines of the weekend. How did we do with that coming up next? It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack on your Monday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This is Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gem everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, and your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. We know times are tough, but we would love to help you out and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Oh no, it's the end of college football as we know it. What a disaster. A dozen or so guys who spent time in NFL training camps but didn't get a 5th year of eligibility or going back to school so they can make a few $100,000 rather than scratching and fighting and clawing to hang on for $15,000 a week if they're lucky. If you have a problem with players doing this, do me a favor. Turn down a job that pays you more with better security the next time you get offered one. I'm Chris Mann.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Back to savings at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get a free MicroGuard Select oil filter when you buy 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic motor oil. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
O'Reilly Auto Parts gets you back to savings. Purchase any 5 quarts of Syntec full synthetic motor oil and receive a free MicroGuard Select oil filter. Limit supply. You can also save 20% on a MicroGuard or MicroGuard Select engine air filter when you purchase this Syntec oil and filter special. Get details at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I love a girls' weekend, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin, thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
You can usually find me in the kitchen, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm still in the mix with Skyrizi to treat my joint symptoms.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin when measured from head to toe at 4 months.
Or if you're an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Oh, yeah. The Extra Point with Tyler Head.
And the kick is good.
Call or text 803-404-6100 on the Game Network.
All right, welcome back in. It is the Extra Point. Tyler and Jack wrapping up the hour here on your Monday on the Game. Gets our future headlines coming up in just a moment. But first, later on this week, it is the Game's Summer Golf Classic at Charwood in West Columbia, presented by White Brown Smiles and co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. Of course, the 9:30 start. We'll have the onion sausages for breakfast from the Gamecock Club, libations bar by Saki's Wine and Spirits, and Little Pigs providing lunch as well. Golf Gun also makes its return with proceeds, as always, going to Camp Discovery. I've been told we have one spot left, just one spot left for Friday's event. If you want to take part, call right now at 803-755-2000. Press the number 2 over there at Charwood to sign up. Again, 803-755-2000. Hit prompt number 2 to sign up for the last spot for the Game's Summer Golf Classic, presented by White Brown Smiles and co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. And Jack, when we're out there on Friday, we're going to get to preview those Week 0 games and look ahead to the first actual weekend of college football. Can't wait.
Oh, man, I'm looking forward to it. I am so looking forward to when we're there Friday. It's going to be a great time, of course. And then Saturday, games are beginning. Like that, the day before the games start, it's going to be like Christmas Eve, man. It's awesome.
And I'm sure a lot of our headlines on Friday will be coming from those first set of college football games. But we set our own on Friday for this past week, and let's see how we did. Jack, you went the route of the Browns, who were still amidst in their quarterback battle going into the weekend, and you thought Deshaun Watson was going to outplay Shedeur Sanders. As we said earlier, that didn't happen, though Deshaun still named the starter earlier on this morning as well.
Yeah, I feel like I've jinxed it the last 2 weeks, where a week ago, my future headline was going to be Shedeur Sanders outplays Deshaun Watson and takes control of this QB competition, and then that doesn't happen. And then this past weekend, I decided to go the other way and say Deshaun's going to, after a okay first game where he played a little bit better than Sanders, is going to take control of this thing and win the battle, which he did win the battle, but he didn't play well at all. So I was wrong from that aspect. And look, a little bit of another note here with this Deshaun Watson being named the Browns starting quarterback to begin the year. I think one reason we see this happening is the Browns are on the road for the first 2 games of the year. They're at the Jaguars in week 1, and then they're at Tampa Bay week 2, and then they're home by week 3 to take on the Carolina Panthers on September 27th. This would give Deshaun 2 games, because we've already seen what he's done in the preseason, but if he's not playing well in those first 2 games of the year, I think that gives you a little bit of runway to see what he can do. If he doesn't play well, maybe you name Shedeur your starting quarterback by week 3 for the home opener. That way, you kind of you avoid the headache that's going to come with Browns fans just absolutely booing the crap out of him when he takes over for that home opener in week 3. I'm talking about Deshaun Watson, that is. So, right. Yeah, I think that is something to keep in mind here, is that the Browns are on the road for the first 2 games of the year. So that does give them a little bit of time to figure out if Deshaun's playing well, you continue to ride with him. But if he's not, you can easily just turn the keys over to Shedeur.
Yeah, that is a fair point. And again, we'll see what happens. And again, there's so much money tied up in Deshaun Watson. I understand why they named him the starter, because, well, you got to hope that it's going to get better from here, and that money's not all going to go to waste, though I don't think we have high expectations for that. So that was your weekend headline. Mine was that these NFL guys going to start committing out of the portal, and as of right now, only one has, but Daquan Wright, as we said earlier, the first ever player to go from an NFL roster back to college football, assuming he clears waivers, where he is going to be a part of LSU's football team this year. What role does he play? We'll see. Again, they've already got a good tight end there in Trey'Dez Green that's going to be taking plenty of reps and plenty of receptions. But Daquan Wright was a serviceable, tight end when he was at Ole Miss, and I'm sure Lane Kiffin didn't go out there and grab him for nothing. Assuming everything clears, the TRO is all good and passes the court thing in a couple of days, and the SEC doesn't step in and prevent this from happening, you're going to have your first guy to go from the NFL to college, as again we saw that kind of coming from a mile away.
I was about to say we should know the answer on this relatively soon. But when we're talking again tomorrow, Tyler, we should have an answer on this, because whether it's regular season or training camp, NFL players spend 24 hours on the waiver wire to clear. So we're going to see if a team claims him. I wonder what that would look like, but I think at this point it seems pretty clear that he's going to clear waivers and return to college, go play for Lane Kiffin at LSU. So it's history, but not for the right reasons, unfortunately.
Well, here's what he can do. The Saints can claim him off waivers. He can play for LSU on Saturday, play for the Saints on Sunday, and do both.
Oh, my gosh. Nothing's impossible, man. I would not even rule that out. That's really bad to think about.
Yeah, what a timeline we're living in, that's for sure. All right, take care, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, looking forward to
it. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour up next on your Monday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Cato's Power Equipment has exciting news for our Toro and Gravely zero-turn customers. Starting summer of 2026, we're introducing the all-new Cato's Care Plan, designed to keep downtime to an absolute minimum, with scheduled routine maintenance, priority scheduling, affordable pickup and delivery, and everyday low pricing. Give us a call at 803-254-3711 or go online to catospowerequipment.com to get your plan quote today.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more. Injured? Dial pound law.
Joe Sandifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
Football fans, it's almost time to draft your team and kick off another season. This year, take your fantasy football draft party to Twin Peaks, where cold drinks, made from scratch food, and wall-to-wall TVs make your local lodge the ultimate draft day headquarters. Round up your league, grab a table, and get ready for the picks, the rivalries, and a full season of bragging rights. Whether you're defending your title or drafting for the first time, start your fantasy season at Twin Peaks. Book your fantasy football draft party at your local lodge today.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
For digital marketing that works, you need local expertise and national scale. Cumulus Digital provides hometown teams fueled by national support, serving over 4,000 businesses a month. Go to cumulusdigital.com. A short form is all it takes to get started.
It's the Hendrick Chevrolet Countdown to Kickoff. 12 days away.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Buy now and make no payments for 3 months. Shop the nation's #1 dealer group, Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Join Lexington Health for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit t2trun.org.
Remember when businesses were local and you knew and trusted the people that worked there? I'm David Hill of True Protect Pest Services. We remember and we miss it. That's why I started True Protect. At True Protect, we're more than pest control. We're your neighbors, bringing over 50 years combined experience to everyone we serve. For local, reliable pest service, call 803-400-8188. That's 400-8188. I'll actually answer the phone, and we'll get started. True Protect Pest Services, proven pest protection.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head.
To the house!
On 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
7 o'clock on your Monday morning. Welcome in Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Tyler, West, and Chris along with you here on the game. Guys, there's college football this weekend. We've officially made it to a week where games are being played from now until mid-January. Buy or sell will start counting on Friday, so get ready for that.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, 12 days till Carolina plays. Vibes are high, man. Vibes are very high.
Bryson Williams days until, how about that, Wes, for guys naming dudes?
Not to be confused with Bryson Allen Williams.
That's right. Don't want to confuse that. Yes, we have, for those that are paying attention and celebrating on Saturday, you can begin at noon with Bill Belichick in North Carolina against TCU in Dublin. And you can get carried through all the way until the 10 p.m. Memphis at UNLV contest in Vegas.
Sneaky good game. That could
that
be
one
that
on your
could be-
radar?
That could be fun.
Okay.
Little late night special. Little
I'll be watching.
Well, one's the Mountain West, one's the American. Little Mountain American after dark.
Mountain American. I like it.
Why not?
The new Mac.
Yeah. We don't
Return of the Mac.
Well, we have the Pac-12 coming back this year. Don't forget about that. So we can kind
Does
of have
anybody know
Pac-12
how
back
many
dark.
teams are in it?
It's
We
8.
don't know.
It's
Okay.
8.
We've gone from 12 to whatever it was to 2. You had the 2-pack.
Well, they went to 16.
And then you had, you had 16, then whatever.
Yeah.
2.
Numbers don't
8.
mean anything anymore. The Big 12, the Big 10 hasn't been 10 in forever. The Big 12 hasn't been 12 in forever. They're ceremonial numbers, if anything.
The true test of if you are really, really itching for college football, like I am, will you watch the 6:30 Sac State at Eastern Michigan game, which is on ESPN Plus? If you take that step, you may be addicted to college football.
I will at least watch some of it. It will get at least a glance.
Yes.
While Wes protests the entire day of just
I got a one game rule. I'll watch one game that day.
What you picking? UNC TCU?
Yeah.
Because it's first.
Wes has a lot of rules. Have you noticed that, Chris?
Yeah, it's very, very regimented.
The funny thing is that I'm not, but I do like to, I guess, introduce rules to this show. But
we broke one on Friday.
Yeah, we broke
did.
one already.
I think
let's reinstitute though.
We're about to break another one though, because I know Tyler's going to ask us about Ethan Johnson.
Yeah, we're going to have to kind of break one of those rules again.
We may be able to do that without saying much about.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how.
Well, can we get a TRO for that rule to be able to talk about it?
Oh my!
I'm just asking. That's how things work these days. We'll get to that. Don't worry. Also get into the scrimmage notes from the weekend as well. We are 12 days from kickoff. A lot of actual good number options for 12 here. A lot of ways you can go with this one.
Who else other than Blake Mitchell?
Tommy Suggs.
Oh, Tommy was 12?
Tommy was 12.
Sorry, Tommy. I actually did not know he was 12.
Can you guys tell me who the 12s on this team are?
Jeff Grant's wore 12 too, right?
Jeff Grant's also wore 12.
Goodness.
Really
Okay.
good one.
That was Kevin's piece this morning on GC.
Yeah. Number 12 right now.
There's 2 of them.
There's 2 of them, and we're going to know neither of them. 12. Hold on. It's not JT Gear. 12.
He has graduated and moved on.
When y'all think of stuff like this, are you like picturing players in your heads? Like I kind of have to like try to see the jersey in my head.
Now, one of them is a number change from a year ago. So this guy was not wearing 12 last year.
These guys and their number changes, man.
That's killing me.
That is my biggest old man yells at. Forget the TROs and NFL players coming back and NIL and all this stuff. My biggest thing is you guys got to stop changing your numbers.
To ruining college football?
It is. It is.
They've gone too far.
I can't come up with either
12,
right now.
12. Okay. Give us positions.
One's a defensive back.
Oh, Quashid Scott.
Quashid Scott's one of them.
Quashid Scott.
Quashid Scott.
Q. Yeah.
Q Scott.
Q.
All right, 12.
Good one.
12 on offense has got to be either a quarterback or a receiver, right?
It's a quarterback. I feel like that's going to give it away.
Brandon Cunningham? No. Cutter
Woods.
Yeah.
Went from
Jeez,
15 to
guys.
12. Now, he wore 12 in high school.
Yeah, see, the 15 is what got me. Yeah. I was like, Cutter's not 12. Yeah.
I don't think I knew he moved to 12. When did he do that? Was that a spring move or?
And there were some recent jersey changes.
Yeah,
now I don't know how recent.
There was the spring moves.
Yep.
Then there were the preseason moves.
Round. Yeah.
Then there were middle of preseason jersey changes.
Yep.
Anyway, continue.
It's a lot to keep up with. There you go.
Cutter's 12.
There's
How about
your
that?
12 for this year. So if 12 trots on the field at quarterback, that is Cutter Woods. For our trivia question today, we're going to go Blake Mitchell. There's also going to be a bonus trivia question for another 12 we'll get to in a moment.
All right.
For Blake Mitchell, he is one of 3 quarterbacks in South Carolina history alongside Steven Garcia and Connor Shaw to beat which 4 opponents as a starter?
Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Clemson.
Boom.
Yeah. Nice.
The only 3 to do it as Wes's lead continues to grow.
And Blake had to be the first.
Yes, he would be the first.
Out of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So first one to do it.
That's a good historical. I was the first to do this.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Blake, when Blake was on, man.
Yeah, Blake's a pretty passer. That's what Spurrier used to say. You know, when
he was on, he was good. When he was off,
he was off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pride of LaGrange, Georgia.
Yep. What's the score?
West by 3 now, I think.
23.5 to 21. So you got a 2.5 point lead.
This is a big half point here then.
Yes, it is. So this goes to one of the other 12s we talked about a moment ago, Tommy Suggs. So Tommy is credited for the 2001 entrance for South Carolina. Archway's named after him and all that.
Yes.
Where did he get the inspiration for that?
I don't know.
Where did he get the inspiration for that? Tommy. No, I have no idea. Just tell us.
You guys really don't know?
You think we're holding out?
No, I thought you guys knew this. Elvis Presley actually did a show here in Columbia back in the 1970s at Carolina Coliseum where he came on stage to 2001. And Tommy was at that show, thought it was really cool, and pretty much suggested it. Now, I don't think it was until Coach, let's see, because they had trouble with the PA system. It took a few years to get this implemented, but I think in the late 80s they finally got it, and it's stuck ever since. But yes, Elvis Presley was the inspiration for the 2001 entrance for South Carolina.
I can honestly say I actually never knew that until this exact moment. But I'm glad you told us that.
I feel like I had heard it. I did know Elvis played here. I was not born. My in-laws went to that concert and still have some photos that they took at the concert and then got developed. And I've seen them. Pretty awesome.
Well, ask him about the entrance next time you see him.
Well,
like, hey, he came out 2001. Is that
mother-in-law
cool?
is listening, I'm sure.
Okay.
So.
Well, there you go. She was there to see it.
Yes, I will report back on that.
She saw the inspiration for one of South Carolina's best traditions.
Yes. Man, couldn't even make up a half point. 2.5 down. Oh, and I don't have long to make it up either.
You don't. We got till the end of next week. So 9 more. 4 more days this week, 5 more days next week. And yeah, I got to start typing up the certificate.
I was going to say, did we decide? I couldn't remember. Did we decide if we were doing a certificate for this?
I will give a certificate. If we want to do anything more than that, we can. But there will at least be the baseline will at least be a certificate.
Yeah, I think that's plenty.
You going to frame yours at least, Wes, if you win this? Chris just has his next to his desk.
He does still have it, though.
I've almost resigned myself to the fact that Wes is going to win.
No, don't start that Lou Holtz bad mouth.
Congrats, Wes.
No.
Okay, but
I do not accept that.
But that's perfect because it's Monday. So today you have no chance. By Wednesday, all right, we're feeling good. By Friday, you're going to win this thing. That's the Lou Holtz approach to the week, right? For Preston, at least.
No, yeah, absolutely. I'll have to make sure I study up on Pharaoh Cooper for tomorrow.
Pharaoh?
Could be Pharaoh, could be some other guys.
Who else?
Kenny McKinley.
That's a great one.
Tyler, have you already? Don't tell us, but have you already decided in your head?
I have not. There's a lot.
2 great options.
As we get to these final couple numbers, there's a lot of really good options here. So
I'm just going to say it should be Farrow or Kenny.
Spread yourself out on
I agree.
who you study
Or Landon
on.
Duckworth.
Don't know how many great questions I can come up with Landon Duckworth or Aaron Nolan last year.
Yeah, I don't.
Probably not. But anyways, 12 days until kickoff between South Carolina and Kent State. One of the big marks through preseason camp is the scrimmages. The second one in the books over the weekend. What do we learn? What do we hear? We'll discuss that coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Monday on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. It's 2026 SEC Media Days.
And the Game was there all week.
It's just a matter of starting over. I built these relationships, got to know these guys, these coaches, and all that. There's no need for me to go somewhere else that's not home for me.
On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Cozy season is ahead, and you'll be spending way more time inside. Is your home ready? Don't worry. With Wayfair, you can upgrade your space without breaking the bank. Score up to 70% off during their Labor Day clearance on furniture, area rugs, mattresses, and more. Plus, surprise flash deals you can't miss. Whether it's one room or the whole house, Wayfair has pieces for every style and budget.
Shop Wayfair's Labor Day clearance now through September 7th at wayfair.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game for AAA Heating and Air. Look, I know you're thinking about a lot of spring cleaning right now, but are you thinking about your generators? You need to be. Those things are vitally important when our power goes out. You want to make sure your generator is running great. At AAA Heating and Air, they're ready to help you. So call today or visit their website. Call AAAtoday.com and tell them Bill Gunner with 107.5 The Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Hendrick.
The most trusted name in automotive is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Car buyers across Columbia keep coming back to Hendrick for a larger selection, better pricing, and an easier buying experience. Plus, buy now and make no payments for 3 months. The nation's #1 dealer group is right here in Columbia. Hendrick Chevrolet and Hendrick GMC. Experience the Hendrick difference.
With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Cato's Power Equipment is Columbia's home for the tools you need to maintain your turf. But we also take special pride in being the experts you rely on to maintain those tools. Whether your zero-turn or pushmower needs some major TLC, or just a basic tune-up to prevent downtime during the busy summer, our expert mechanics obsess over providing you with quality, dependable repairs and maintenance. The grass is going to grow this summer. Let Cato's Power Equipment keep you prepared. Come see us today at 4012 West Beltline Boulevard or online at catospowerequipment.com.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of GE appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Jeffers McGill offers the best customer service and lowest price on every GE make and model, including GE Profile, Monogram, and Cafe brands. Jeffers McGill and GE, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Protecting your family, your health, your home. I'm David Hill of True Protect Pest Services, and that's what we're all about. At True Protect, we're more than your local pest control provider. We're your neighbors, and we care. Our technicians are certified in modern, environmentally conscious treatments that work. For local, reliable pest service, call 803-400-8188. That's 400-8188. I'll actually answer the phone, and we'll get started. True Protect Pest Services, proven pest protection.
Hey guys, Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central here to make sure your business and property parking lots are kept available from any unwanted cars taking up your spots with Schroeder's Towing. For instance, you're coming in hot to the game studios for your show and you park next door in an unauthorized lot with signage that was provided for free from Schroeder's Towing. Next thing you know, the show is in the books and your car is out of the lot. It really is that simple. That's a true story. Call Schroeder's today and keep those unwanted cars out of your lots. Online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
And welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Monday on the Game. Tyler, West, and Chris along with you here, getting closer to the start of the college football season. 12 more days till Carolina plays Kent State, and Saturday was another step closer to that. Scrimmage number 2, mid-afternoon, the heat of the day, something that is going to be more indicative of what you're going to see in week number 1, and didn't get, I'd say, as many details coming out of this one, but did still hear some good things.
Yeah, first of all, Chris, let's embarrass Tyler for a moment. He just won the Player of the Week award, we'll say, here at
MVP
107.5. Congrats, Tyler.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good job.
Like I said, you guys better be on your best behavior. You could win it next.
I don't even know if we're eligible. We're not actual 107.5 employees.
We might not be eligible.
Anyway.
I don't know if we'd win it anyway.
That is true. But, yeah, scrimmage number 2. This was one of the buy or sells. With the defense, y'all looking at me like y'all don't remember this. It was whether the defense
didn't know where you were going,
would bounce back. And I think pretty definitively they did. And I
think I sold that.
You know, did you really? I thought we all bought. But
no, Chris, you actually bought, because the question was, would the offense win scrimmage 2?
Oh, okay.
You bought it. Wes and I both sold it.
Okay.
So I lost.
So you lost
Just
that
a loser
one.
today.
But yes, and it wasn't. Again, from the reports that we got, it wasn't the defense just decimating the offense. But if we had to pick a winner, it would be defense.
Yes, from what we heard. And, I think my takeaways are that kind of interior defensive line group, it sounds like, continue to just, be really, really good and really deep. And, man, those 5 freshmen that we've really been talking about pretty much like all offseason, Jazavian Currents, Julian Walker, Noah Clark, Sequel Patterson, Darius Gray, like just continue, it sounds like, to make moves and put themselves in position to possibly play. And, I'll be very curious to see what Beamer says on Tuesday, because I think he had some pretty strong comments last week about, hey, we need some guys in all these different position battles to start to kind of take hold of a position group. And, I think your scrimmages are obviously, other than just consistent play throughout the week, playing well in a scrimmage is one of the best ways to grab the trust and attention of your coaches. So, I'll be very curious beyond what we heard to see what Beamer says about those things on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll get full update from Beamer, or as much as he's going to tell from them. But, I think that we know the defense rebounded in the kind of the second half, I guess you could say, of scrimmage number 1. And so we're all waiting to see, okay, how is scrimmage number 2 going to unfold? Is it going to be similar? Is it going to be offense comes out hot, defense catches back up? Is it going to be the opposite of that? The offense still made some plays, right? But most of what we heard was just around how the defense really came to play. And this is something JC pointed out in one of his scrimmage reports. A lot of it, people, that we were able to get some things from. Clayton White did a good job of just dialing things up. South Carolina is going to face some similar schemes this year to what Kendall Briles runs. Of course, you've got Jeff Lebby's offense, Mississippi State. You've got Heupel at Tennessee. Freshman starting quarterback, by the way, Faison Brandon. And that South Carolina has got some depth and some players on the defensive side of the ball. And so I'm not surprised to hear this. I think if you're trying to figure out well, what do we make of that? What do we think? I think some healthy back and forth through the first couple of scrimmages with the offense throwing some punches, the defense punching back, and vice versa. I think that's what you want to see. That's what you want to hear. And one of the things in particular we heard about this weekend scrimmage was just how good the defensive line in particular looked. You know, that group as a whole, of course, still no Dylan Stewart, but just did a really good job of being very active, showing their depth, batting passes, and that is thought of, particularly this defensive tackle group is thought of as maybe the best on the team potentially.
And we've talked about a lot of the regular names in that D-line room, Gabriel Brown-Ladindley, Tomiwa, Jordan Thomas. Obviously, Noah Clark's gotten a lot of love this offseason, but I think it was in your report over the weekend, you were noting about Aiden Harris, who's been practicing well, somebody that scrimmaged well apparently on Saturday too. And look, that's a very, very deep room. We don't know how deep they're going to go, but he's somebody that we haven't gotten maybe as much attention to. Obviously, a very different type of defensive lineman, smaller, more athletic compared to a Noah Clark, but good to hear that he's doing some things that could potentially earn him some time on the field this year as well.
Yeah, I mean, if this was last year's defensive line, maybe we're talking about Aiden, and, maybe he's getting a little bit more of the buzz. But this one is just because they did go in the portal as well, much deeper than the one last year. And so, I think that's kind of kept Aiden a little bit more out of the spotlight, but good signs there just for his future. That's somebody South Carolina won a big boy recruiting battle for. They're excited to have him, obviously, in the program. I kind of look at, those 5 guys I mentioned earlier as being in one category. And, again, for those who weren't with us already, that would be Sequel, Patterson, Darius Gray on offense. That would be Jazavian Currents, Noah Clark, and Julian Walker on defense. We're all in agreement. We circle those 5 like, hey, they're playing. Doesn't necessarily mean they're starting. Matter of fact, I don't know if any of them would start if it was day one right now for a game, but they would all 5 be on the field. Then I would take a step down, and I'd maybe say Cassie Barnes potentially, and I would maybe start to put Aiden Harris in that secondary category in terms of like he may be good enough to help. Mm-hmm. But, because of where that position stands, maybe it's not. It's definitely not going to happen right off the bat. And we'll get to Ethan Johnson here in a second, but that addition certainly affects Cassie Barnes and, his push for playing time as well. But those 5, I think, are really almost in a category of their own. And then there's maybe 2. I'm trying to think, is there anybody else you would put in that secondary category, like, freshman-wise, that, hey, they could play but probably aren't? Because then I think there's another category of guys where it's like, okay, they're probably only really playing unless, or if somebody gets hurt or you're up big in a game. Maybe they do play in game 1 or 2, but it's because you're up big, in the second half. One thing, Chris, that always does maybe catch us a little bit off, maybe not off guard, but is something worth watching, is maybe a freshman or 2 we're not really talking about too much, especially because there are no red shirts anymore. Maybe they're like, hey, we love what this guy brings to special teams.
Yes.
And they just, that was really, what would you say, like David Busey's path his first year. Wasn't a highly recruited guy, but you started hearing like, hey, man, this guy's going to help us on teams.
Yeah, do you look back, like, do we get midway through the season and look back and go, oh, Andrew Harris has played in every game on special teams only,
right?
Or Keenan Britt, right? Keenan Britt got a special teams award in the spring.
That's a good point. There are no red shirts.
No red shirts. So it's like you don't have to say, all right, well, this guy can't help us enough on defense to justify playing him in every game on special teams. You do see that sometimes when red shirts are still like Donovan Darden played in every game last year on special teams. He did not play a lot at linebacker, but now even more than in the past, you can say, hey, there's no reason to hold this guy. Like, we're just going to play him every game on special teams. You don't have to worry about burning a year. If you do that in the past with a guy like Darden, you have to go, okay, like, he's losing this year. We have to make that decision where we feel good enough about him only on special teams. So there's a couple guys that might be in that category. I mean, Britton Harris, I think, makes some sense. Aiden Harris is very interesting because Like, man, I'm just sitting here looking at the scholarship breakdown. There's 9 guys on there at D tackle. A bunch of them, the first 5 guys, the upperclassmen, they're all playing. Noah Clark, who's another fellow freshman of Aiden Harris, he's playing. We also know that, like, for whatever reason, it might have just been, hey, we're going to rest Gabe and we're going to rest Tommy for a little while. Aiden Harris got some second-team reps in preseason at D tackle, has gotten some. So, you know, does that mean he's playing a lot? No. But does that mean he's done enough to where they're like, okay, like, we're going to give this kid a look? Yeah, maybe so. Is he, like, I do think there's levels, like you said, Wes. Like, is he playing as much as Noah Clark right now? I don't think so. But a lot of the freshmen, I think, are in the category of they need some time to develop. But you have those 5 you mentioned, Wes, and then there's some other guys that I think are special teams, like spot duty type guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know if you mentioned, but Sequel Patterson also apparently had another good scrimmage on Saturday, making some guys miss in the open field. Obviously good. Again, that continues to build into what we talked about a lot last week with Jaden Sellers going down that now opens up that slot position. Mazeo Bennett is somebody on experience that you would think of kind of has the edge there, but Sequel Patterson, since he's been on campus, has been turning heads a lot, and good to hear him once again have another strong scrimmage on Saturday, and we'll see how much he finds his way onto the field once the season starts.
Yeah, he's one of those 5, I think, that you circle. And, you know, I think certainly Mazeo is your starter in the slot, but I think Sequel has a great chance to be the backup there in the slot. And it really, I think as soon as Jaden got hurt, then the question becomes like, all right, how quickly can we bring Sequel Patterson along? You know, because that's a spot where, yeah, it's one thing to be probably the third teamer at that time. It's something completely different to be a guy that's in the rotation and that you're going to be rolling out there game 1, you know, in key downs as opposed to maybe just late game, you're up big situations. And then, as we know, I mean, football is a violent game. Like, somebody's going to get dinged up. Guys are going to, like, you're going to have to go, even if you don't have, like, quote-unquote injuries, there's going to be times when the second teamer, especially at a position like wide receiver, has to rotate in. So, you know, I think that's something where, you know, you're just doing everything you can to get this guy ready. And, I mean, he skipped his senior year. So that's an aspect of this I feel like people haven't talked about enough is, you know, not only is he doing this, he didn't go through spring practice, and he really should be in high school right now going through his senior season.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about hearing what he did in Saturday's scrimmage is the question that, I don't say we, I'll say I. The question I had was, all right, a lot of positive buzz in the summer, you know, with like workouts and the player run practices and what he was doing in those settings. Well, then the pads come on. And Shane Beamer talked last week about how, you know, the pads come on. That kind of changes the equation, right? Now it's what do you do? You know, when you're on the field, what do you look like as a blocker? You know, the game gets more physical at that point when the pads come on. And so it seems like the transition there is going well for him. You know, still a question? Yes, I think so. But again, he seems to be making that transition well. And if he can carry that through, he's making a good case to play early. And then, of course, as we've talked about, you've got the first 2 games that seem ripe for the picking to get in some of these guys and see how they perform, you know, in live game action.
Well, Wes alluded to a moment ago, there's a new addition to South Carolina's defense. We'll tell you about who it is and how it happened coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Monday on The Game.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, everybody, let's tell you about our friends over at Integrated Media, integratedmediainc.com or 803-948-8327. Got all these toys here in the studio, Game TV, cameras, TVs, all set up by Michael, Nathan, and our friends over at Integrated Media. And if you're looking for them to upgrade your home, turn it into a smart home, mount that TV, trick out the man cave, set up your patio with football season right around the corner, they are your trusted source to do it. A true one-stop shop for all your tech and AV needs. They can tell you what the best equipment is in 2026. They can come out to your home and professionally install it. You don't have to go shop at all the big box stores or peruse thousands of options online. Just go to integratedmediainc.com or call them at 803-948-8327, and they'll help you out. That's Michael, Nathan, the team at Integrated Media. Check them out today, just like Wes and I did.
AC losing its chill? Just call OnCall Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Your family can't wait when it comes to home comfort. That's why OnCall is available with 24/7 emergency response. With OnCall, you get trained technicians, not trained salespeople. Focused on fixing your issue, not upselling services you don't need. OnCall gets your system back up and running fast. For comfort you can count on. Trust OnCall Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Visit OnCallSC.com or call 803-781-HELP.
Many times, a person hires a law firm after an injury without doing research. It can be a big mistake or not. Sometimes, after you have hired a certain lawyer, you realize you made a certain mistake. But guess what? Just because you hire them doesn't mean you can't fire them. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you think you've hired the wrong firm, you may have. So do this. Google Morgan & Morgan results or visit forthepeople.com for cases just like yours. You may find that our full-service injury firm should have been your choice in the first place. Last year, almost 12,000 people discharged their law firm and hired us after further research. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com today and let's get started. Or call Pound Law on your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Joe Sandifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
Join Lexington Health for the Tunnel to Towers Columbia 5K Run and Walk on Friday, September 4th at 7 p.m. This unforgettable patriotic event champions the heroism of our nation's first responders and service members. Then stick around for the after party featuring live music, family-friendly events, and food trucks. Walk or run to honor our heroes. To register, visit t2trun.org.
Cato's Power Equipment has exciting news for our Toro and Gravely zero-turn customers. Starting summer of 2026, we're introducing the all-new Cato's Care Plan, designed to keep downtime to an absolute minimum, with scheduled routine maintenance, priority scheduling, affordable pickup and delivery, and everyday low pricing. Give us a call at 803-254-3711 or go online to catospowerequipment.com to get your plan quote today.
Remember when businesses were local and you knew and trusted the people that worked there? I'm David Hill of True Protect Pest Services. We remember and we miss it. That's why I started True Protect. At True Protect, we're more than pest control. We're your neighbors, bringing over 50 years combined experience to everyone we serve. For local, reliable pest service, call 803-400-8188. That's 400-8188. I'll actually answer the phone, and we'll get started. True Protect Pest Services, proven pest protection.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Yeah, we've had some discussion, David. Really, we're kind of in a holding pattern until we get some more clarity from NCAA, SEC. I don't think anybody's really doing much of anything right now. Is there anything imminent? No. Is there any player that I've had a discussion with? If this passes, we want you to come back or we want to add you to our team. I have not. So I don't. Never say never. We'll always do what's best for our program, but don't anticipate anything changing.
Welcome back in. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Monday on the Game. That was Beamer all the way back at the beginning of camp, being asked about the class of 2022 as all these TROs have been happening in the wake of the NCAA's 5-and-5 rule change that didn't include that previous class. Now a lot of them obviously do have the opportunity to come back to college, including the most recent group of 16 from the ruling in Colorado the other day that granted even some on NFL rosters the ability to enter back into the transfer portal and come back to college. Daquan Wright, the tight end with the Cleveland Browns, heading back to LSU, being one of those. But over the weekend, South Carolina got somebody not on an NFL roster but was included in that group of 16, and Ethan Johnson from Appalachian State had played 4 years there as a cornerback, exhausted his eligibility this past year, but now officially a member of the Gamecocks team, adding to that defensive back room.
Yeah, and ironically, as that was happening, the Colorado ruling, the NCAA was granted a stay, which means everybody from the Colorado ruling were all of a sudden then ineligible again. But Ethan, the kid that's going to LSU, DQ Smith for that matter, they were all granted the eligibility in the Louisiana court, which also provided them the opportunity to enter the transfer portal, which was an aspect that the initial Colorado ruling did not provide. So this one also enjoined the ghost transfer rule, which basically meant that you can be penalized as a program and as a head coach if you take a late transfer not in the transfer portal window. So that is what Johnson is operating via his ability to enter the portal now and join the South Carolina team because of that Louisiana TRO. And, Chris, I mean, let's just dive into what this would mean for South Carolina and why they would want to do this. If you go back to what Beamer said Tuesday, if you dive into the roles that he mentioned, this spot, we're looking for somebody to step up. That spot, we're looking for somebody to win a job. We know Judge Collier, Bakari Swain are your starters at corner. That CB3 spot, Cassie Barnes and DeMarcus Leach have been battling it out. Jalewis Solomon, it feels like that's kind of quieted a little bit. Like he initially, you would have had to mention him in that. It seemed to me like it's Cassie and DeMarcus from what we've heard. Well, essentially, this gives you some maturity, some age, some just experience, some depth, however you want to say it, at a spot that was very, very young behind those two guys. So, I think this could actually go multiple ways. You're bringing him in to potentially win that third corner spot, but maybe he comes in, maybe that pushes one of those other guys to play even better. Mm-hmm. Maybe maybe it just increases the competition, and Cassie or whoever ends up still winning it. But I look at it like this: you're building yourself a layer of insurance at that spot, because once you got past those two just really experienced guys, you had essentially, other than what DeMarcus Leach did last year, essentially like no experience after that at corner.
Yes, because you look at the other guys. Zabari Sandy's a guy that can play multiple spots, but he's had, unfortunately, a couple ACL injuries. Then you've got Tristan Lewis, who may be long-term as a safety, but worked at corner this spring, has been working at corner. True freshman.
Yep.
And then you got KJ Johnson, another true freshman, who didn't enroll until the summer. So you do not have a lot of experience there. Now, there's been talk about, hey, Quashid Scott battling it out with Gerald Kilgore at nickel. If they needed, you could play him at corner. Okay, and you can still keep that in mind, but you can bring in a guy in Ethan Johnson who has played, I looked it up earlier, this guy's played 4 years at App State, exhausted his eligibility there, right? Played 4 years. He's played about 3,000 snaps during his college football career, and by all accounts is a great kid who's going to be a good fit. I've heard he's really smart, so even though he's coming in late, very late, he's played a lot. He's a sharp kid. Like you would think at corner, he's going to be able to pick things up pretty quickly. And even if that takes some time, you can kind of graduate up to it. So no downside in doing this. I think it's a really, really resourceful get, because we've seen this. Like South Carolina was obviously very active in the December transfer portal window, but they added a couple guys in April and May, offensive lineman Vincent Chin, another kicker, and Malik Orson. So they used that, the ability to do that they used. And then they're saying, hey, we need some corner depth. Like, oh, here's this guy that's available, who's played 3,000 snaps and played pretty well. We like him.
And went to Huff right across the border.
Went to Huff. same school where Josh Dobson and Davion Jones, 2 Gamecock commitments, played their first game this weekend. So you have familiarity with him. You know some people who know him. And so plugging him in is literally a no downside thing. And is somebody that could be good enough, as Wes said, to play a lot of snaps for you this season.
And as you mentioned, again, he's coming into campus right now, less than 2 weeks to go before the season. So getting up to speed on everything in 2 weeks is going to be a tough ask. But like you said, a smart player that obviously proved himself for 4 years at App State in the Sun Belt and was multi-time all Sun Belt in that time. As the season wears on and he becomes more comfortable in this defense, I'm interested to see what that balance and shift is. Is he somebody that could potentially be starting one of these cornerback spots by midseason or season's end? How much rotation do you have there? Because, again, it's not a spot where only 2 guys play the entire time. So how much do you rotate these guys in and out? Is he interesting to see as he comes in and tries to get up to speed as quickly as possible at those at that cornerback spot?
Yeah, and, I think if Judge and Vicari are healthy, they're going to be your starters, I think. I would be pretty shocked if he's able to outplay those 2 guys, just setting realistic expectations. Now, can he come in and be that third corner? I think absolutely. And, I think if you look back, the way South Carolina has handled that position in the past, that guy does end up playing quite a bit because it's not really, how depth chart you would list this corner behind that starter, and then you would list another corner behind the other starter. Well, that's more on paper. Typically what South Carolina does is cornerback 3 is really the backup for both starting cornerback spots. And then cornerback 4 would go in if you were getting both those guys off the field. But a lot of times you would just rotate him in for one of the guys. Then if you want to get the other guy a breather, you rotate cornerback 3 in for that guy. And so over the course of a game, and then over the course of a season, cornerback 3 doesn't end up playing as many snaps as the first 2, but does play, quite a bit. So I think that's a big role, even if it's not a true quote-unquote starter. I also think another aspect of this, guys, remember what we talked about last week. If he comes in and can help you and can play cornerback 3, that keeps you from having to pull Quashid Scott from your nickelback depth, a spot where they have 2 guys they feel great about and are going to rotate a ton. You don't have to basically push that button if you're South Carolina. You can leave that nickelback depth in place without having to pull from it in order to fix your cornerback depth.
So as the crazy world of college football rolls on, South Carolina adds a new piece and Ethan Johnson over the weekend to that defensive back room. We'll come back, wrap up the hour. How do on buy or sell? We'll let you know coming up next. It is the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Monday on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Hey, this is Preston here from 107.5 The Game and The Game Network. If you run a diner, bakery, coffee shop, burger joint, pizza spot, or that hidden gym that everybody should know about, how would you like to get the word out about your business without spending a dime? Well, we got you. All you have to do is text your name, your business, your phone number to 803-404-6100, and we'll be in touch. There is no catch. Times are tough, but we're here to help you and your business.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. The 2024 draft tied the 83 class with 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round. But the 24 class has crushed the 83 group for speed to market and finding its first bust. It took 3 or 4 years for the Chiefs to realize Todd Blackledge, who they took 7th overall back in the day, was a bust. 2 years in, safe to say the Vikings already know what they have in J.J. McCarthy, who can't even beat out Carson Wentz for a backup job. I'm Chris Mack.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Don't ask
Hey y'all, it's Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke. Y'all know our fans are like family to us, and family watches out for each other, especially when we're out riding. So before you or your crew get on your motorcycles, make sure you're good to ride. Even one drink could be too many. Don't let a good ride end the wrong way. Ride sober or get pulled over.
Paid for by NHTSA.
All right, everybody, let's tell you about the South Carolina Education Lottery. Couple did you knows here. Since 2002, more than 244,000 lottery-funded scholarships and grants have been awarded to students at the University of South Carolina. The Life, the SC Hope, and the Palmetto Fellows, those are a few examples. I was actually a beneficiary of the Life Scholarship thanks to the South Carolina Education Lottery when I was at the University of South Carolina. That was a while back. Lottery proceeds have funded millions of scholarships and grants across the state of South Carolina, plus thousands of school buses to help get students to school. Playing the lottery for fun is a win for education in South Carolina. You can learn more about the South Carolina Education Lottery at sceducationlottery.com/educationwins. That's South Carolina Education Lottery.
Knock, knock, Capital One Bank guy.
Wow, Charles Barkley?
I just moved into the neighborhood. Can I borrow some Wi-Fi?
Sure, Chuck. That's what the Capital One Cafe is here for. Open 7 days a week.
Oh, can I use your ATM? My dog walker only takes cash.
Anything for a neighbor.
Can I try the catchphrase?
Sure. Take it for a spin.
There's no fees and minimums on Capital One checking accounts.
Nice, Chuck. I'll take it from here. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Visit CapitalOne.com/bankguide for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
Sniff the difference. Game.
The Gamecock Central Takeover Hour with Wes Mitchell, Chris Clark, and Tyler Head on 107.5 The Game, The Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Run that back, turbo.
All right, welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on your Monday here on The Game. Tyler with Chris wrapping up the hour. It's a busy week for us. We'll be at Firehouse Subs coming up on Thursday at the on-campus location. Then Friday, it's the Game Summer Golf Classic over at Charwood, presented by White Brown Smiles and co-hosted by the Lexington County Gamecock Club. We have one spot remaining.
Oh,
if you want to take part, give Charwood a call at 803-755-2000. Hit prompt number 2 to sign up for the final spot for the Game's Summer Golf Classic coming up this Friday. Yes, Chris.
Better get it in while you can. I had Firehouse last night with the family.
What'd you have?
I'd just like to announce.
What'd you have?
So I got the Chicken Cheddar Rancher.
Okay.
If you have not had it, you must. It's fantastic. But yeah, that was just, we had a little event we had to go to Sunday morning, early afternoon. Everybody was super hungry because it was like 1:30. What do y'all want? Took a poll. Of course, Firehouse Subs. It's fantastic.
Never a bad option.
Never.
I think Wes mentioned this because we haven't been out to Firehouse in a while. We're going to have to reestablish our rankings.
We are.
Yeah.
We're going to need, we're going to need a lot of subs.
Yes, we are.
Just to make sure, probably 2 tables worth, I'm thinking.
Probably. Hey,
spread them out.
Every Firehouse takes good care of us.
Yes.
I think the university one might be our most frequented location.
Yes.
And they always do a great job.
Cannot wait.
Me too.
A couple new things that we're
I want to try the new honey melt.
Yeah, the
smoking honey melt.
Smoking honey melt, yeah.
Are they still doing all that construction over there? Are we going to have places to park this time?
I think we're good now.
Okay.
I think
cool.
everything's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. Looking forward to that coming up on Thursday, and then hopefully see a lot of you guys out there for the Game Summer Golf Classic coming up on Friday. Again, 1 spot left if you want to call Charwood and reserve that. Buy or sell over the weekend, the last dry run. These count starting this week, so be prepared. Last one outside of the world of college football. And And question number 1, as we alluded to earlier, would the offense win scrimmage number 2 as they had done scrimmage number 1? Chris, the only one to buy that.
Womp womp.
It's okay. Kind of balanced out with one scrimmage going to offense, one scrimmage going to defense.
Didn't help me on my.
You took a chance. That's fine.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Preseason touchdowns scored by former Gamecocks on the weekend. Set the line at 1.5. We all sold the under. I believe the only one I found was Marshawn Lloyd scoring for the Packers.
There you go.
If there's another one I'm not aware of, please let me know. But I scoured through every box score, and I didn't see any others.
I didn't see any others either.
Appreciate you doing that research.
Unfortunately, the Saints didn't score any points in their preseason game. Rattler did throw a pick 6, but that doesn't count for the Saints.
No.
Commentated by Brenda Song, actually. I don't know if you guys saw that over the weekend.
Yes, that was interesting.
Made it that much worse.
I saw a pic floating around. I guess was it the Seahawks and the Browns?
Bills and Browns.
Bills and Browns. Why did I say Seahawks? Yeah, Bills and Browns. So we saw T.J. Sanders, Jalen Kilgore for the Bills, Gage Larvin, Rocket Sanders for the Browns. Having a little reunion on the field. That was cool.
Pretty well represented South Carolina in that game. I know Larvin, one of the pick that Watson threw was intended for him. Kind of a bad throw.
Not his fault.
Yeah, not his fault. I don't think Kilgore dressed for that game.
No, he was wearing street clothes.
Yeah, he was wearing street clothes. I think Sanders got in there. But, yeah, that was out of all the games this weekend, that one probably had the most Carolina flavor to it.
Yeah, good to see those dudes hanging out. Gamecock football put that out on social.
Yeah, always good to see. Hey, that is, we talk about, that's an advertisement for the program. Yep. When you got guys, whether it be already established starters or fighting for roster spots, anybody in the NFL obviously goes a really long way. Question number 3. This was Major League Baseball. There wouldn't be a single MLB team with a winning streak greater than 3 by Monday. I was the only one to buy this. You guys both sold it. You guys were correct. Making sure checking those stats again here. We have the Guardians, the Royals, the Phillies, and the Dodgers all on winning streaks greater than 3. The Phillies, boys, did you see this? The Phillies were down 4-0 in the bottom of the 9th and came back to win.
Yeah.
To extend their winning streak to 9.
I don't like this at all.
We don't want to talk about it.
I don't like that.
I don't know.
Well, I don't like that either, but that's impressive.
I don't know if you guys have.
No credit will be given, though.
I don't know if y'all have seen the NL East standings. They're becoming increasingly tenuous.
Starting to sweat a little bit.
Phillies are 9-1 in their last 10.
Getting uncomfortable.
I was just looking over with my stepdad yesterday about the finish for the Braves here and kind of mapping scenarios. They do have many games against the Phillies. Those are probably going to decide this thing, I think. But it has not been fun watching that lead evaporate.
Well, and the Braves who did win the Little League Classic last night, took Game 3, but did lose the series to Milwaukee. Now get rewarded by playing the Dodgers right after that.
Yeah, congrats, guys.
So
there you go.
You get legitimately 2 of the best teams in the NL back to back. You get some reprieve with the Rockies later on this week, but yeah, gotta survive this short little gauntlet here, and yeah, that lead's getting smaller by the day.
Yeah, moving on.
Anyways. West doesn't want to talk about it.
Final one, buy or sell. Asia Wilson, who had 26 points against Toronto Tempo in Game 1. They played this year over-under that same point total. We all bought the over. Unfortunately, only 20 points.
But we didn't get any hate mail, so it was a win for us. We didn't get any hate mail.
She also played less. They blew him out. She also played fewer minutes in this game.
Okay.
She only played 27, so that had something to do with it.
I would just just to establish the record, I have now willingly taken an L. Not willingly taken an L. I have picked and lost twice in a row on the Asia questions.
Yes.
So you can't say I'm a hater.
Right.
I've auto bought them and have not been rewarded. So if I
it's
ever
like the auto draft and
yes, in fantasy.
Yes.
So if I at some point decide to sell or pick against,
you set yourself up.
Do not send me hate mail.
That's gonna be the one thing people clip. They'll be like, "Look, Chris Clark hates Asia Wilson."
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah. Disrespect.
Before we go, Tyler, did you see that it is officially pick your fighter a couple of days in the SEC for quarterbacks?
Yes, I
Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, all choosing who they're going to battle with.
All on South Carolina's schedule.
Yep, going to see a lot of young quarterbacks this year.
Not surprising. Florida just named. By the way, for future reference, is it Philo or Philo?
I thought it was Philo.
Philo. Okay, we're going with Philo.
Yeah.
So Aaron Philo, within the last hour, named the starting quarterback at Florida. Brandon Faison had been named the starter earlier today or yesterday at Tennessee. And Keelan Russell will be your starter at Alabama.
Yep. You'll see young Keelan Russell in week number 4. Looking forward to that.
Youth movement.
That's right. Young quarterbacks in the SEC, and Carolina's going to see a lot of them. Halftime show up next on your Monday on the Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV.